Good evening, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. Just before we start the meeting, can I ask a minute's silence, please, in respect of Mrs. Margaret Longdon, the wife of past Town Mayor Councillor John Longdon, who's passed away last week. So if we could just a minute's silence, please.
Sorry, just a wonder if we're sending a card or...
Mr. Chairman, a card has been sent from the Town Council because when I was giving news of the death, it was for the Town Council and it was appropriate to send it then. The card has been sent to the Town Council. The Town Mayor will be invited to represent the Town Council at the funeral, and I understand the arrangements are on the Broxton website, as John was a former Mayor of Broxton also. So I will be inviting the Town Mayor to attend to officially represent the Town Council at that event. Normally I will also attend if I'm leave, I'm not here that week. So if for further details, please look at the Broxton website.
Can I just add that? I'm sure if any individual wants to send John a card or something, I'm sure he'd be quite happy. Well, I'm sure he won't be happy, but if you'd like to send him a card.
Apologies for absence.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have apologies from Councillor Paul and Sharon Enster, Randy Hull, Ian Lawson, and of course Councillor John Longdon. Can I also at this point tell you that Councillor Randy Hull's had a rather bad accident over the holiday period, and again I sent a card from the Town Council and some flowers, so I should overthinking about her. She's having a rotten time, I understand.
Yeah.
And you are not having a more rotten time because you...
Yeah, I've got a soup on
No, you're not.
Several soup tormenting us every day.
So,
break, wasn't it?
I know we send Councillor Hull.
Yeah,
She's a big family.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Declarations of interest.
Mr. Chairman, I'll do this the way we normally do it, just for quickness. Anyone for Broxton Borough Council, please? Thank you. Anyone for Notts County Council? Nope. Allotments? Thank you. We've got the County Centre team? Thank you. I think that's about it. I know planning, Councillor McCready, but that comes out of our council. If anything else comes up during the discussion and you feel you have an interest, please declare at that point, unless there's anything you're aware of at the moment that you feel you have an interest in. Nope, thank you.
The minutes of the Town Council meeting held on 28th of July.
Can I propose those? No.
Thank you.
Yeah. Request made by any member of the public to address the Town Council.
I received a request this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Police issues in staying with her.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you asked me to issue an invitation to Inspector Ragg to come along and speak to you about policing issues within the town. And Inspector Wright is very kindly came along this evening on his evening off.
That kindly or briefly?
I'd like to thank him for that, above and beyond his common duty. Thank you so much for coming this evening. And I'm going to turn if it's all right, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, and I hope you have a accept questions from
No, of course. Excuse the attire, this is hour 13 today, so I know it's a small mileage stream to the out at that point. But yes, long day, so I thought I'd come in my more casual attire straight from you, in and out. So what I will do initially then is just sort of set us off on the path of where we are with regards to what the current threats and risks to you guys, the residents of Stapleford, are in crime recording terms. So Stapleford and year to date, so that's as of yesterday, year to date crime figures are 1,477, which is an increase of 363 crimes compared to last year, so a 32.6% increase in crimes across Stapleford. Pause there for a minute. Consider that against the force. The force has recorded 31.7% increase in recorded crime to date. So roughly a par 0.9% of that. So when you take that into context, you might think nearly a third over, but actually there's a lot of reasons and rationale why that is, and some of those are so if you consider violence against the person, for example, and I use that as a real proper term there, and what that encapsulates, which is a lot. 386 crimes recorded so far this year, which is a 70% increase. Now you guys will know, you don't walk down Stapleford High Street and banjo every 5 seconds on the road and like that. Is a lot of the time about our recording practices and how we have moulded our recording practices fitting with HMIC inspections. We now record more offences that in past years haven't been recordable offences. So for instance, malicious communications, I'll just put that one out the air. We didn't used to record that as a crime, we investigated it, it wasn't a crime. It now is a crime, it's recordable on our system. So something like that hopefully makes you realise why those disparities exist. Similarly, Public Order Act offences, so not too dissimilar to violence offences, we've seen an increase of 223%. Well again, not right, is it, that you don't walk down the street thinking, oh, I fear everybody. Well, it's not the case, is it? So, I do add a massive note of caution when I talk about recorded crime figures, particularly at the minute, because of how the HMIC have criticised forces around their recording practices, and also about the extra crimes that are now recordable crimes. So hopefully that puts a little bit of context about why those figures might be where they are. The key crimes, which I'm sure you'd like to know about, that aren't particularly different are, for example, burglary. So burglary in its entirety, your house, your shed, your garage, whatever like that, 215 crimes compared to 189. 189, apologies. So that's 26 more crimes and a 13% increase. So that remains a very, very significant crime type in Stapleford, but also a force war. And I won't go into a vast amount of detail here, but I'll give you an example today. A vehicle that remains a vehicle for the purposes of this public meeting committed a crime in Derby, then came to Broad Oak Drive and committed a crime at Collingburg at Broad Oak Drive, then went to West Bridgeford and committed a crime there, then went to Althorpe and committed a crime out there. So you give an example of that of, do people come here to commit crime in other areas? Well, without general doubt, because they're probably not Stapleford people, and they've been on a burgling spree throughout the force, and that's currently a live investigation. Take that as an example. So while it is a very key crime type, it's not necessarily us as neighbourhood policing teams that are going to go and investigate those matters. I'm sure you respect. Yes, we'll try and prevent it and help you guys with what we can do about that, but that's just a very single example of that big crime type in this area. Vehicle crime, for example, complete opposite, so 166 offences compared to 216. So that's seen a reduction of 23%. And again, yes, I won't go into names, but there's been a few people arrested for vehicle crime offences. I'm sure you're aware in the area, and put away, and that I think has probably helped a lot. In some cars also harder to break into now and steal and the like. So there's a lot of manufacturing reasons for that, as well as some of the work we do as well. So that's just a quick snapshot of those key crime types which you would be interested in, a little bit of knowledge about what those matters might be. I'll quickly move on to staffing then, because I appreciate when it comes to what can we do as naval policing team officers, it's important that I give you a snapshot of where we were and where we are. So when I first landed here, Broxtowe in 2013, Broxtowe South had 6 police constables and 13 PCSOs. That was just for the South. Roughly speaking, equal on Broxtowe and Broxtowe. So that gives an idea of where we were in 2013. Today it exists with 3 PCs, so 50% less, and 6 PCSOs and a PCSO joining next month, so let's say 7 for the sake of it. So it's 48%-ish reduction in staff across Broxtowe South. So on that note, I'll open the floor then to throw the yellow pages at me.
Councillor Brown.
So if you say there's some things that's recording sort of bit, is there going to be a change in how you record things next year?
I think some of the HMIC reports have just started coming out. I don't know whether you've seen that in the news. So West Midlands have been described as inadequate. North Wales has been described as requires improvement. Like now, Knox don't get theirs until 2 weeks' time when the HMIC come. So we stand here today as Knox Police and say we're quietly confident that we're going to come out as good, which is what, generally speaking, is good for HMIC without coming as exceptional, for example. So if we're getting it right, then it's not necessarily mean that we're going to start over-recording again next year. So those disparities that exist because we required improvement, and we're hopefully no longer.
So next year,
next year we might
proper
start
figures as such, because you're using the same criteria.
Yes. That said, there could still be the issue of the Home Office making more offences recordable crimes, like malicious communications, for example.
Yes, when we last met, we were at Broxtowe and we asked you, when we get time, to look into the situation of Higgies Lane recreation ground, where up to 2015 we had some sort of, well, the police with the memorial organisation and Broxtowe had some sort of, shall we say, more patrolling and extra things to keep the naughty ones not so naughty. The past 12 months, unfortunately, this thing's come up again. Now, I know you haven't got the officers to do what they did previously, but have you looked at that case at all?
Yep, we did. And obviously, I was coming to this anyway. So,
Right.
so fully aware of that. We did a little bit of scoping exercise and particularly today when we applied to the Super's office about some of these issues that were highlighted. Some of the parks, Frankfurt Park was one, and then Park was another. And the incidents reported to us don't necessarily bear out with the or report to the likes of you, for example, or some of the matters that are reported on social media. And one of those examples was Frankfurt Park, where I was told about this massive problems, and similarly, these massive problems. I'm not saying I'm not ignorant of it, it doesn't happen and people don't necessarily report everything that there is. We always have that, like I say, about figures, take it with a pinch of salt. I didn't feel that it met the criteria for a dispersal authority, and I'm not saying that I leave them out like confetti, but it didn't meet the criteria for that. And there were patrols on there. I know anybody's been down to King's Lane, but I know Andy Freeman's been down King's Lane today, chasing motorbikes on pavements and so on and so forth, but different matters. So, yes, it has had the exposure by Knox Police. Does it have the exposure of 6 PTs and 13 PTSOs? No, of course not. So there has to be that realisation of expectation that what we once had is not what we have now.
I appreciate your answer and what you told me.
Councillor McGrath.
Steve, mine's based around that as well, as you've said.
Yeah.
Most of them, which are young kids, let's be honest, or whatever, like, are basically around the parks in the summer months or when they're on school, right? And I just wondered, I've spoken to Richard Smith on certain occasions when residents have spoken, and I email it over to Richard when we've had problems, say, up Fairfield. Young kids gathering together late into the night, probably boozing or whatever, mate.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it from the cross neither. but do you know what I mean? Because I remember when I first became a councillor, I'm sure that in the summer months we did used to have patrols that went round. I'm not sure that we still do it, because I've asked a question. In conjunction with you, have you just said that your force has been cut by X, Y and Z? But I did hear Knox Police are recruiting again, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I just wondered, do you talk to Richard and all that? And obviously, the lead about, especially in the summer months, because that's when most residents, they see it all the time, don't they? Young lads doing wheelies on the middle of the street, either on push bikes or on them washing machine things, but you know what I mean? Them Lambretters. And that's where it's seen. Now I know, if we could and in fact I'm sure that I've seen Dean and the van pull up and throw a couple of them about in June straight in the van, but it didn't really stop because, God forbid, one day, and they're going to get hurt, aren't they? Is there anything that we can make them a bit better, or because if we go out to them, I chased a few, but I couldn't catch them. But you normally get towed, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. I think
F off or whatever, and you don't really want to be wasting your time by saying X, Y, and Z told me to F off.
Yeah, if I do those in different sectors, open spaces and parks are always a little bit damned if you do, damned if you don't for the police. I could go along and like we did at Mountbatten Way, and we have done it, put dispersal authorities on. And we put the dispersal authority, and the dispersal was done from a particular area. Where do they end up on your doorstep? Where do they end up on a different park? That kids will always look for somewhere to go and hang wherever that hang is. Now, open space parks, generally speaking, away from residential areas.
Are better, yeah.
Yeah, and they're better. So when you might talk about Hicklins Lane Park, for example, would I personally, from a police perspective, rather see them on Hicklins Lane Park drinking Mad Dog 2020 and smoking whatever it is? Well, you know, from a safeguarding point of view, that's a damn sight better than it is riding bikes up and down roads or on your doorstep. You ring me every 5 minutes, smashing your windows. So you've got to balance that up a lot of the time about what is best for you guys in the longer term, because the local authorities will always have a predetermined sort of obligation to say we will provide you, youth of this particular area, with a place to be, so on and so forth. So the police's hand is a little bit, I won't say one hand behind the back, but you have got to consider that when we use our tactics. Now, if it was like, say, some kid gives you the F off, so on and so forth, I think you're quite right, John, that we can't field those calls every 5 seconds. It's a little bit like a shop telling me they've had a whisper bar stolen every 5 minutes. Well, we'll see, won't we? They don't always clearly because they have levels of discretion, as you have your own levels of discretion. So, but whether you say to your local officer, you know that Jaden, pick a name out here,
Yeah.
he's alright.
Fancy.
He's
That's a
alright.
young name as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I just remind members that this meeting is being filmed?
Absolutely. Well, Jaden's just a random name. Yeah, no surname attached to it. So Jaden's being alright, whatever it is, around this particular area, or he's staying out or whatever it is, and he's doing it like that. Well, that's far more relevant and useful to us than it might be that we follow that person up there and social behaviour legislation chain, because you're feeding us those bits of intelligence means that we can serve them with a community protection notice warning and escalate it from that. So some of our tools are better when we get that little bits of those pieces of intelligence and information rather than necessarily union with.
But the Broxtow still patrol the parks.
I would like
No,
to say that
that
possibly.
I mean, this is where I'm coming from on that, mate. I don't know whether they are or they aren't. And this is a question, I wondered if you worked with them. Years ago, Steve, they used to. That's what I'm saying. They used to go around that.
They do have boards, so it would be improper of me to say that they don't necessarily.
I just thought, did you work together with saying, right, we've got a bit...
Yes. I think the contractually is the difficulty. With
Yeah,
that. I've heard before about can they work till X o'clock in the morning to support us? No. Is the very
that's
because contractually they only work, and I would like to say, but I think it's like 10 o'clock at night, for example, and that's it. That's their contractual obligation. So while that exists, they won't be out there till midnight, 1 or 2, so on and so forth. So that's theirs. This is ours.
Another one because I know, but I brought it up as well at council. Obviously, my wife works at Sainsbury's anyway, but the meat thieves, as they call them, and James wanted me to, obviously, in my whatever I am, right? But surely that should be Sainsbury's. I know Dean and they all go in, and I think they're well aware who they are or whatever, but they still they're still in nearly every other day. And some, like quite right, I said, some are coming from over Sandy, and then some, and it's just that what should Sainsbury's do about it? Because they seem to have an attitude like, oh well, we've lost £500 worth of meat. I'm sure the girls will stop them one day, and I disagree with that. I'm sure that you're pursuing what should be done, but do you help Sainsbury's? Because I heard cameras aren't too good now, mate. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Do you say, well, look, we need to prosecute these, but you're going to have to improve your cameras?
Yeah, and again, that little bit horse to water, as I mentioned earlier, there's some stores, and we'll remain nameless, like I say, who seems to be appalling. Absolutely appalling. And we go in there and say, oh, what do you expect us to do with that? Because there's absolutely zero chance of even identifying the person, let alone prosecuting the individual. But again, it's their business. So it's very difficult for us to come around and say, do that. So take Sainsbury's or any other conglomerate business who will design the shop for your benefit. They won't design the shop with a crime prevention strategy. So we will go in and say, don't put your steaks on the first aisle. So you get the lamb chops. Well, that's our design layout. Why? Because the customer comes in and they want to see their dinner, very first thing, put it in their basket, it's our greatest profit, and you're like, what kind of whole place? It's running. So some of those things we do, it is a business-led matter that we can't target hard and that out. So I suppose, yes, we do try and help sometimes, but sometimes it's a little bit...
tell me.
Mr Chairman, I think we've got Councillor Free, and then we've got Councillor Ball and Councillor Pearson, and want to come again, Councillor Brown after that. No.
Me and Jan had a meeting with the police in Roxton this afternoon, and obviously I can't mention everything that happened because that would be unfair, but a couple of the things that we came out with, one was Ickings Lane Park was mentioned, and I remember years ago, and I think it was Brian Woodmore to be fair, when it was the county council, because they got a division from, they put an event on, so we spoke about that, so we're going to contact our county council, see if they put down in, not their pocket, but, you know, the division fund, and try and put some kind of event on there where you can have, like, if the police are able to come. We've done one a year or two ago, but then there was one Brian did, like, do something on the skateboard park and that, kind of like take your park back. I know it's only one day and one thing, but people do come up and tell you stuff when you're there, so that was one of the things we came up with. And then the other one was, because drugs and motorbikes are kind of a big issue at the minute, and what it is, with the motorbikes, it's quite difficult for the police because they've got to physically, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, this is what I picked up today. It's all right people ringing up, and this is what we need people to ring up and report, you know, we've seen them whizzing around these roads, but unless the police actually physically see them, they can't take the bikes off and catch them. A lot of the bikes, they're buying them off social media, Gumtree, things like that, and they're not registering them. So if you see one whizzing along and you get the reg plate and you pass that on, when they're checking it, it's not registering anybody's name, so it's pretty difficult. I know, as John just said, they have took some bikes off some people, which is pretty good. So what the advice we was given was, it's still encourage people to ring up, to report all this, if you see where they're keeping them and everything. But they're like, I think years ago, you do like pool cars, you used to call them, so they're kind of like with the bikes, aren't they? You've got lots of people using one bike. So when you see a lad whizzing along on a black motorbike with a green helmet on, that could be 5 different people that's doing it because they're sharing the bikes and we all know what they're using them for. But so the thing that we were told was, as councillors, and this is for everybody, try and encourage people to keep reporting it, and if you see where they're keeping them, that was one thing. And it was the same with drugs. I'm obviously not going to say where, because that's not fair, but it was the same. It's trying to get the residents to report it. And I know not everybody wants to give their name and address and all that. If they do give their details, it's better because the police can use that more. But if they do want to do it anonymous, you know, you've got your Crime Stoppers. You can ring the council up because they can do anonymous records. The police can. But if we can encourage people to come forward, as I always say, there's more of us than there is of them. But it's difficult because people are scared of the repercussions. So we've got a leaflet that's being knocked up at the minute that we're going to try and put out in certain areas just to see if it works, to encourage people. If it does, brilliant, then we can probably get some more and do it. So I think the big thing was, it's trying to encourage people to report these crimes and come forward. As odd as it is, that's kind of what we've got to do.
Yeah, do that twofold then, obviously the first bit being the motorcycles. So sort of correct for the most part is difficulty around motorcycles is obviously a no pursuit policy for not to use police, which is pretty much forced nationwide with regards to motorcycles. So the no pursuit policy based, not telling any secrets in there, most people know that. Consideration is being given at the minute internally within the force as to whether we introduce stingers or hollow spike stingers, stop sticks, whatever you call them, as a tactic to be used against motorcycles. I would argue yes, why not? So you see videos of a motorcycle travelling over one of those at like 90 miles an hour and it carries on deflated tyres. Well, it's not for me to make that decision, somebody else. Fingers crossed it's a yes, but I don't sit here professing that it is going to be a yes. But that's just another tactic we can do. There's an individual that emails me quite often on King's Lane with regards to motorbikes. And some of the difficulties we have is just around the registration mark. So if there isn't a registration mark, yeah, very, very tough for us to sort of get hold of that. If we do get a registration mark, like we have done today, and I've sent Andy Freeman on a task around, as you already know, because you spoke to him, is we can issue them with a Section 59 warning notice. So once they've breached that Section 59 warning notice, then we can take the bike off them. It's as straightforward as that, to be fair, once they've committed it again. If it's got no insurance, obviously at right, we can take the bike off them. If it's not taxed, 2 months and a day after the tax is due, we can take the bike off them. So it's not strictly speaking that we're powerless to deal with these bikes, it's just, it's a little narrower perhaps than what a car might be, for example. So yes, I would say, tell us about bikes that are terrorising around wherever they are in Stapleford, but the more information the better. You know what I would say about that. Drugs-wise, you know how proactive we are on drugs anyway. We do a lot of warrants in and around Stapleford. Closure orders, we've spoken about closure orders before, and how people kick out on premises closure orders. We do work closely with the local authority around those individuals as well. There's a couple of people coming up soon that will be getting their collar felt around a couple of bits and bobs that will remain anonymous for the time being. So yes, agreed. Do tell us. It doesn't need to be every 5 seconds, like you say. Oh, I've just seen this. I think I've spoken to you before about what is actionable intelligence and what is something that could be anything, which is someone who's just pulled upside the house, got out of his car and come back out. It starts to build a picture. I appreciate you don't necessarily need to tell the police on 101, but you might mention it to your local PCSO to say, God, keep visiting that, because for all you know, it could be the dad of an estranged child, for example.
Could be Amazon parcel being delivered.
Could be absolutely anything, yeah. So like I say, the intelligence picture builds up, but we might come back to you and say, it's nothing. So yeah, do tell us. But, and I think perhaps what we're not very good at necessarily all the time as police is perhaps getting back to you to say, thanks for that, but it wasn't anything. I appreciate we don't always get that bit right.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit shocked that you don't know whether parks are being patrolled or not. I would have thought you would know, or you wouldn't. And I appreciate you saying it's better to have it in one area than all over the place. But when you're taking your children to the park and there are people openly smoking weed and there is people openly drug dealing on the park, I would have thought those patrols would be put in place, because the amount of complaints on social media, on Spotted, all the time. You must be getting calls about Hickings Lane and Ilkeston Road all the time, because it is constantly on. And I do feel patrols on these parks are warranted.
The question I'll ask is whether the council orders patrol the parks.
Well, but I never see a council warden.
No, that's what I mean, Con.
I
No,
never see
I
one.
can't answer the question.
And it's all right them doing it, but when they're there all the time, these gangs that are on there, unless they build Andy builds a good relationship with the youngsters in Stapleford, and I know that from first experience.
So did Pete Farrell.
Pete Farrell, loved Pete Farrell, got on with all the kids, and he was there and they knew when to push, when not to. But I feel these wardens, what are they able to do? Because they're going to be victimised by these said youngsters, because that's what they do. If they don't know what's happening, they'll jump on them, and they'll be there shouting at them, goading them, and that's what they're like. I do really feel police presence is needed on these parks.
Yeah, so, like I said, go back to the wardens then around where you think I'm not responsible for wardens, so it'd be improper of me to turn around saying, yes, they're patrolling parks and so forth. So, for me to say, yes, they are, I would envisage that they are, but they're not accountable to me. Now, I work with Maurice Hawley at Roxton Council saying, this is where they need to be and so on and so forth, but they are restricted, like I said, regards their contractual hours.
But
So
what can they do about the drug dealing, the smoking weed? And that's what I'm saying. It's all right saying the wardens should be doing it, whether they are or not. I'm asking, are the police doing just the odd flyby, having a walk on and speaking to the lads that are on there? Are they doing that? Yeah.
Just for a point of clarification that maybe assist members, just like you were members of the Town Council, Roxton Borough Council are responsible for the parks in town. Roxton Borough Council do employ wardens who have a full job description covering various elements. They are not the police, they are not security, they are the park wardens. If you have any questions with regards to how many there are, what they're doing, etc. I would suggest, I'm just going to clarify the point. I would suggest that through the Roxton Borough Councillors, you access that information, and if they don't have it, they access it through the officers because they can get that information. The wardens are not police.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I must have been misheard. I thought they were saying, are the police patrolling the park? And that's what my question was. I spend so much time on Hinkley Park, the morning, afternoon, evening, and I've never seen one.
Well, Steve's there, Carl. You're normally out there late, aren't you?
yeah.
Where I was coming from, Flower, is that years ago, going back, you always had your park warden.
Yeah.
But now, as Steve will tell you, this is where questions we're going to have to ask, is that they normally say they employ 5, at a guess, I'm only guessing,
Yeah.
so they might employ 5 or 4, they'll just go around the parks between certain times. So all through the day there's no one there. Right, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
In the height of summer it needs to be increased, that's
Yeah,
what
they
I
haven't got any police powers. That's
No.
what I'm asking. No police powers.
Through
at
the
all,
chair,
okay.
please.
But it's a presence, Carl. Sorry.
Councillor Pearson.
Yeah, most people have thought of what I was going to do. I'm not too pessimistic about Hinkley Park, or presumably Carl and others, but the people who pestered me in the past haven't been. I think one of the things that we really do need to ensure, it is no good reporting it and going on Facebook. For God's sake, report it to the police.
I think a lot of these things do say.
Through the chair,
But
please, this meeting is being
It
filmed.
really needs, there is so much going around on Facebook. Facebook doesn't help anybody other than you get your feelings. It's got to be reported to the police. And it really, I think all of us should be enforcing that. I know why people don't want to do it. I understand the reasons why. But if they don't want to do it, well, come along. If somebody doesn't want to report it, come and tell me about it and I'll report it. I don't care. I'll put my name down to it all. So it really does need that, even if you got it second hand. If people are frightened themselves and the only one to talk on Facebook, come and find somebody else. I'm not frightened of anything. And I'm quite happy to report it. And I'm sure Richard isn't and John isn't. And that's the way it must be done. And I really do want to enforce that. Second thing, I'd just like to go back to the bits about drugs. We all know we've got a drugs problem here. I accept that. I don't think it's anything like as bad as what it is in places like Mansfield and various other places. That doesn't mean it's not a problem, but I think we do have to recognise that perhaps it's not as much a problem as it is in certain other areas. Going back to what Steve was saying about things with the council, one of my experiences is, and I'd just like your comments on this, that whilst satisfied because I've had the dealings with the council and anyone involved in the drug situation. I do believe that council are trying to over. But I have had experience with people who are in housing association properties. And I know from speaking to Andy Freeman at times, they don't seem to be so cooperative, particularly in Valley housing. What's your thoughts on that? And how do we go about it? Because I think that can be more of a problem because they're in a different situation and aren't going to get rid of their tenants.
Social landlords, as they are in law, the legislation applies equally to them.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and I can't say I've come up against any problems with them when I've come to enforce, like say, premises closure orders or warrants or such matters. I think the mandatory possession matters, to get it too wise, is a very grey area, and I think the local authority and social landlords don't necessarily always enforce mandatory possession matters when somebody's convicted of a list of offences. And as much as I say mandatory possession, it doesn't force them to go down that particular route. So from a policing point of view, I can't put pressure on the local authority or social landlords excessively to go, you will go for that person. I appreciate there is a profit margin matter as to why a social landlord might not compared to necessarily a local authority one. But nothing sticks out in my head necessarily to go, oh yes, there was that, for example. And I think, like say, a closure order that we did on Placket Close where they were absolutely spot on.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Doing a closure order.
I could tell you the same thing. I also know there was a problem on another flats as well where the ladies had problems for over a year, which is run by Valley Housing.
But what we're doing at least in the PA house and it being great. So,
but I know one of Placket Close, I know that was done.
Yeah. But again, that's social landlord. So.
Yeah. I'll perhaps drop you an email as regards the other place.
Yes.
Because I don't want to be taking tonight, but if I drop you an email, I haven't seen the lady recently, you get hold of me every day. So. If I perhaps drop the thing, perhaps you could just have a look at it.
It's the questions have been asked that I wanted to ask. I mean, the only thing I would do is make a comment to everybody sitting around this table and in the chamber, is if you see anything, if you go on the park and you see people dealing drugs, for heaven's sake, make a phone call, report it. We can't just, you know, our police officers are under have so much pressure on them, and they are so undermanned. We have to help them. We have to take matters into our own hands to a certain extent as well. And you know, that's one of the reasons why we're going to start delivering these letters to people, to actually explain to them the way to go forward. And if we stand up to these people, as Richard said, there are more of us than there are of them. And it's the only way that we're going to get rid of this men. Well, we'll never get rid of it completely, but at least we'll send out a very strong message. That's all.
Rochdale have got some neighbourhood wardens, which is kind of separate to, I think, what you meant. They're not on a specific park all the time. They do the whole of the borough, and it is a big borough, and they do dogs and you know, lots of different things. And there's a team of, I think there's 3 that go out and one perhaps in the office, so right before them, and they're brilliant, and they're more than happy to come and do stuff. But actually on the parks, there used to be wardens, if that's what you want to call them, park attendants. I don't think park keepers were, I don't know if we've still got them, I'm not sure, I don't think we have. But there used to be one on Dickens Lane Park, back to what Carla was saying, and she used to lock herself inside all day, so she'd turn up in the morning for a shift and just sit in her little office because she was so intimidated by the drug dealers and the gangs hanging around outside. And she was only a young girl, she was like 18, and it's not her fault, but they stuck her into one of the roughest parks, and she just sat in her office all day, so that wasn't brilliant. There is signs on parks saying security, whatever it says. I don't know what the company is, I can't remember. And I have seen a van, if I say a month or 2 ago, pulling up near Ilkeston Road Park, but the guy just sat in his van and didn't do anything, so that was a waste of time. But I don't know if they still patrol or not, but I don't think there is, but it's something we can ask, and if you speak to Jan about it, because she's the chair of community safety at Broxtowe, so it kind of covers what we're talking about, if that helps.
Can I just say to the Borough Council, if I may, that up to 2 years ago the Borough employed 2 people, were called security by Broxtowe. They used to go around all the parks in the whole of Broxtowe, morning, afternoon and last thing at night. If that still goes on, I've got no idea.
We have to, that's what I'm saying as well.
We get security out all the time. People would have like pull up at night.
Can we come to the chair, please?
As I was saying, I don't know if it's different now.
I think, Mr Chairman, it might be useful if members at Roxburgh Council could pursue this information on behalf of the Town Council and let us know.
Chair, my only concern is, like Steve says, do they talk to Steve and this, that and the other? Because surely they, without being intimidated, can collect enough information, if given the right instructions by us at Broxtowe Borough, that's all I'm saying.
Yes.
And then it's, like Richard said once, apparently got to send in the bogs or whatever.
And I remember the female that
I do, yeah.
I absolutely remember her.
So, I mean,
remember her being replaced.
Yeah.
What I would say, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering what Brian should have said. On our part now, some people are very frustrated. We do get security people come down pretty regularly. So we must be the only one in Stapleford.
I'm in bed, I have to be up there.
On your behalf, can I ask, are there any further questions for Inspector Ragg this evening? If not, again, on your behalf, can I thank them for coming out this evening? And Can I bring your attention to the Mayor's engagement? As you can see, the Mayor's been very busy, as usual over the summer period. We did have, there are displays outside showing what he's been up to, and a number of members sitting around the table have been joining him at these events. I think we can say a great fun was had by all the several of them. Football's kicked, carnival prizes awarded. I would draw your attention to one of the things that are coming up in September. County Open Days are in St Helens. They're also at St John's School, and Deputy Mayor will be attending the event at St John's School. They would recommend that, it's really interesting. St John's School in Nottinghamshire. And St Helens Church has the, is also open, if you haven't been to St Helens, it's really interesting. There's Jobs Fair next Wednesday, something completely different.
Here.
Here, yes.
Richard's looking for a job.
And can I draw your attention to the Town Council's 30th anniversary concert at St Helens Parish Church. And any profits from this concert will be donated to the Annex project then. This is celebrating 30 years of the Town Council, and I would ask you to support this event. Number of past mayors are coming along, the town mayors are coming along, and I understand Broxtowe are also going to support us. Tickets are £10 each, they're on sale now. You see my musical assistant, she will be happy to sell you a ticket. So
I think we should thank him for selling tickets then.
Please do support this event. If people don't support events, we can't continue to run them. So please do support it. Right, now that I've covered the nice things, try to draw your attention to remembering the 11th and to remembering Sunday.
Can I just mention something about past event that we've just done?
Yes, sure.
Okay. I just wanted to thank Chris for the carnival. I know he was the mayor, and you know, we took the mayor today because some people forgot he was the mayor, but he is the mayor, and we know he's pretty good at it as well. So I can't say the event was very good because it was a bit pants, but I think we had good fun doing the neighbourhood plan stall. We didn't have tons of people come and talk to us, but it was, I don't know how to describe it. We had good fun, it was very eventful. And it was, you know, there was quite a few councillors there, so people did come and talk to us probably about other things. Yeah. But we had more fun than probably other people on the carnival because it was rubbish. But thanks to Chris, that's all.
Mr. Chairman, that the carnival is not a town council event. It is organised by an outside group. They invite the town mayor to attend the event. The town council has traditionally awarded a prize for the best stall, which we continue to do. But please, your opinions of the carnival to the organisation who organise it, not to me.
And we'll let them know that Chris is the mayor as well,
Yeah.
not just the councillor.
Yeah, thank you very much for your comments, Councillor Craig. Right, can I move us to Remembrance Sunday? And I have circulated a letter, a draft letter, to members with regard to this. I was rather shocked at the beginning of the week to be told of certain things that were happening with regard to Remembrance Sunday. Now, Remembrance Sunday is a town council event run in conjunction with churches in Stapleford. It's a wonderful event, and I have the privilege to organise it and have had for over 20 years. The problem with it is there are immense security issues with them, which seem to get worse every year. It's a very expensive event, both in time and in the cost to run it, and the 11th of the 11th. But I do have to say that the Town Council has grown this event dramatically. And anyone who's looking at photographs with me earlier in the week will see how since the early 2000s that it has grown and brought people out. I was shocked at the situation, and I hope you've had a chance to look at this letter, and I would welcome your comments. I'm very disturbed by it. I have spoken to the Reverend Canon Peter Huxtable, and he shares my concerns, and I will come back at the end of the meeting to inform you of what Peter and I have discussed. I'd like to open it for comment. I know that Councillor Pearson has comments to make, and I know one or two other people have as well. For anyone who doesn't have the letter, I sent it to you, a draft letter to you last night by email. If you have, I know Councillor Green's got a copy here, and someone got a copy there, thank you. Mr Chairman, through you, if Carla Councillor Bowles had a hand up, I think first. Councillor Grindle, and I know Councillor Pearson wants to make comment. I know Councillor McGrath wants to make comment. Yeah. So, sorry, Councillor McGrath, you have your hand up as well?
I will ask, because by the time it gets round to me, everyone will have said what our problem is.
Mr Chairman, through you, we start with Councillor Bowles.
Obviously, I'm new to this, but can any organisation just come along and say we're doing it now?
No.
I don't understand how.
Exactly.
I thought they'd have to apply to do it and go through certain protocols. I don't understand why they can just turn around and say you're not needed, we are doing it.
Well, let's put it like this. I know the officer at Lord of Clemency. When I spoke to her, she said she just took it for granted these were the people that were organising the event this year. Because why would anyone say they were organising it when they weren't? I'm not going to make comment here at that point. I'll leave that for other people. But no, you can't run two Remembrance Sunday services. It's just not possible.
I mean, after last year, I know that there was issues with the reading and the way.
Order of later reading.
That's right. Can I just stop you there? This has come up so many times, and other councillors just say, the order of laying the wreath is not my order.
No, if you let me finish. Sorry, if you let me finish. What I was going to say was, you invited them via Richard McRae. It's on the video to come and let's get this sorted. Let's go through it together. And they didn't do that. I spoke to somebody myself, and he said no. If they were right, you were wrong, they didn't need to come and see you, they knew that they were right. But I said, go and speak to her, go and sort it out, then you both know where you are. That wasn't done. So I am really, really shocked that this could just be taken off the town council's, I'm really shocked.
It's very strictly laid down who does it when and when they do it. If it was up to me, and many councillors may say this, I would have town mayor there a week, and after that it would just be a case of people take a wreath when they wanted to, because it goes on and on and on. But if you're having a wreath laying ceremony as part of solemn service of remembrance, which it is, you have to follow a strict protocol. There is also strict protocol for greeting people. There is also strict protocol for where people stand and where they sit. And it sort of goes on, and the more people you invite and the more additions that you have, it complicates the protocol and security.
I do think they've got it already planned. I spoke to somebody yesterday and it's in his head, they're doing it.
Well, I'll leave it, before I come back on this, I will leave it to the council to make this comment. But as I say, if you read it, as you see from the letter, I'm already well down this path because I started this last February. I had my debrief with the police following the event in November. I met with the police in February for the event. I had my briefing call and sign-off with the officer in charge only last week. Now I have bookings already made with regards to PA systems. The traffic management people are just waiting on me sending the final instructions to them, and so it goes on and on and on. And I find this, I just don't understand it. I really don't. And I think if my father was a veteran, he was spinning in his grave. You know, it's just absolutely falling.
So why do they want to get on the bandwagon?
I think they feel that they can possibly do it better, like many things. But I don't know.
I don't understand. I say, if they want to take it over, they can take it. In all honesty, take it over. It has been my privilege to organise it, but it is a headache. You know, there's a lot of worries involved in it, and it's a very expensive event in both time and money.
Will it be done properly? With all the issues, insurance, the police, will it be done properly? The town council aren't involved?
I don't know. I can't speak. I am employed by Stapleford. I am employed by Stapleford Town. I am employed by Stapleford Town Council, and I work for Stapleford Town Council. The Stapleford Town Council pay for my time and my intellectual property, etc., etc. No one else does. So and I will help and advise people as much as I can for their events, but primarily I work at the Town Council.
Thank you. Well, actually, when I received this last night, I was astounded, and I sat down and I was going to write the town clerk a very long response. I was so angry that I had to say I had to delete it because I don't think the town clerk was really too happy. What I will say is this: that the Stapleford Town Council has been doing this for 13 years. It has grown, as the town clerk has said. Secondly, I don't believe, and I could be wrong, that any organisation which is to come into the know exactly what's involved in this situation. Now, remembrance as far as the town council is concerned, remembrance services is second to none, and on top of that, it costs a lot of money which the town council has never worried about. This is something that we're good at doing. This is something that's built up. A lot more people come now. Even visitors come from Sandacre and other places to our main two events. So I'm gobsmacked, and I can say to you that I know how much work that the town clerk actually does to prepare it. It takes a long time, and I've got to be honest with you still, I'm speechless. And for me, that's saying something. So there's all the things that the town clerk has mentioned, if anybody has wishes to take this over, I'll ask the town clerk now on your behalf, if I may. Have you had anything in writing from Stapleford Combined Services at all?
No, Mr. Chairman, I've really been involved that they have made certain arrangements, and I've been saying here, and have informed the Lord Lieutenancy that they are the organisers of this event.
That's all I've got to say, I'm afraid.
Which, as I say, there's no kind of insurance implications here, but and no councillor McCready in the grass, where I can't get the hand.
Well, I thought that was you.
I don't know what to go first if you want them.
Or do you want some more?
Have you got anything you want to say? Because I know you might have some just to Richard. Have you got any statement that the combined services have given you?
Yeah, no, obviously I'm a
because
member
if you
of
have,
it, so
I think-
if you voted on anything, obviously I'd be clear and just
Yes,
and all
but
that.
what I'm thinking is that if you've got something
Yeah.
on behalf of
I have,
them, pass on to us before I make my comments.
I mean, we had I'm a member of the combined service, an honorary member, and I have been for quite a while. And we had our AGM on Sunday just gone, over the road, and one of the things that was discussed was the Remembrance Day. And at a previous meeting, John Longdon, and I hate talking about people when they're not here because they can't defend themselves, but, you know, it is what it is. He came to a meeting and he walked in with some paperwork and he said, I wanted to speak to the chairman, but he wouldn't tell the rest of us what was happening. It was all like cloak and dagger and secrets and that. So at the meeting on Sunday, he wasn't there, and we was told that I don't know what's the person's name, His Honour Michael, don't know, so it's a representative, it's basically a representative of the Queen for Nottingham, so it's quite high up.
Mr. Chairman, on the point of clarification, it's one of the deputy Lord Lieutenants.
Yeah,
There are around 44 deputy Lord Lieutenants in North Hampshire, plus the Vice Lord Lieutenants and the Lord Lieutenants.
So they told me that this guy had been invited, which I thought, well, that's pretty cool, because you know, someone coming, it's dead good. And then there was discussing road closures and who was going to meet him and everything. So I said, well, you know, they said they'd send me the email they've got, and I said I would discuss it at the town council. And one of the things I was asked to do, and I'm doing that now, because this is what I was asked to do by the group I'm in, and one of the things was to let the town councillors know that this, what you said, is coming to the service on the 12th, on the Sunday, and if any of the councillors want to meet this person, when, you know, greet them, which is a pretty good thing to do, to be in the Conservative Club for 20 past 10 in the morning. So obviously I came over here and mentioned this to the town clerk, Kim was here, and I spoke to Dave as well. It was on Monday, so I came in straight away just to let everyone know what I'd been told. And while we was here, I got forwarded an email, because I've not seen it, so I didn't know what was going on. And when we had this email, it just says in it that one of the members from the combined services, and they know I'm saying this because they asked me to, had emailed the Gaynor, who's the Lord Lieutenant Officer's secretary, and organised for this gentleman to come along. And, you know, so I've seen the email, which I forwarded to you, and I've got it here if anyone wants to have a read, and there's a reply in it from Councillor Longdon, and it's dated the 8th of August, so he's known about this for a month and not even told anybody, at least a month, and not told anybody. And his reply, I mean, I'll read it as it's wrote here. Oh wow, what a result. We sought out an escort for him, probably yourself, Chris, or me, duty, I suggest, laying a reef, also to assist in the name raiding. Give me a bell on, and then his phone number, obviously I'm not going to say that. So, there was another councillor aware of this, but, you know, because of circumstances, I was asked to tell you, and when I've come in and said that, we've found out all this other stuff. But there has been previous meetings of the combined services where I've sat there. I think Dave was at one probably last year. I can't remember if that was that same meeting. And I turned around to the group of them because they're all good blokes, and you know that's why I try and help them as much as I can. You know, I'm proud of what they've done. You know, they've been soldiers and stuff. So anyway. And I've said on many occasions, what you need to do is come to the town council, whether it's stand there and do your 3 minutes at the beginning and give a statement out, and then we can discuss it, or come in on another day, talk to the town clerk, talk to the leader, as we've got now, and it was a different leader past, and sort it all out. Because then, you know, people can talk about things, it can all be done, and it can be everyone working together, and we're pretty good at that in Stapleford, at working together. So that was planned. And on both occasions where I've said this at different meetings, because you asked me for the list last time, on both occasions, John said, and he's actually shouted and ranted at everybody, because like I say, Dave heard him, and he was saying, it's got nothing to do with me, no member from the combined services must come and speak to the town council under no circumstances, and he's just shouted them all down and put them off doing it. So when I spoke to them in a meeting on Sunday, I don't know, but they'd agreed that they would send somebody along to come and talk, whether it's talk at the beginning or try and everyone work together, which is how it should be, and then we wouldn't have this confusion. But it concerns me that another council's known about this for over a month and not even had the decency to come in and tell anyone, because we wouldn't be where we are now. It's embarrassing.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm very grateful to Councillor Craig for letting me know about this, because you can imagine imagine the embarrassment on the day of this gentleman turning up and no one knowing about it. Because apart from anything else, the time wasn't given to the Lord of Tenancy's office. The road would be closed. The stewards wouldn't have let his car through. And if they wouldn't have known anything about it, they wouldn't have been looking.
It's recommended in here that he lays the wreath and reads the names out.
Well, the point, the other thing is, Mr. Chairman, if you invite the Lord Lieutenant to can't attend, he wouldn't be able to, and it's one of his deputies, he would automatically lay the first wreath because he is the official representative of the Queen, and he takes precedence over everyone. So he would be basically the Queen, Her Majesty. Then it would be the town mayor, then the Mayor of Roxton. I can't change that protocol, that's how it is. As for reading the names, I don't know anything about that. I'm not going to go into the history about that, but the problem we have is there seem to be certain people that seem to be able to grasp that there's a way to do this and that's the way it has to be done. We need to get to the bottom of this. We need to stop this. I'll need to try and sort something out if I'm going to continue organising this event on behalf of the Town Council, so we can sort this road business out. And so we have officially, and this has been confirmed to me by the Lord Lieutenant, the person that should greet the Deputy Lord Lieutenant is the Town Mayor. The Lord Lieutenant attended the Freedom Parade, and it is the Town Mayor who greets him. So I need to get this all sorted out, and I've spoken to the Lord Lieutenant's office, and she said, you need to fix this. So I will need, if you are continuing to organise this event on behalf of the Town Council, you will need to get this fixed. I have spoken with the Reverend Canon Peter Huxtable, who knew nothing about this either. Now, he's the minister taking the service, and they hadn't consulted him either. When I spoke to Peter, Peter's suggestion was that he and I meet with one member of the combined service and we try and sort this out. So once Dave makes this point, we'll decide how we're going to go along with this. I'm appalled. That's the only word. I'm completely appalled by this sort of situation.
Well, I'll be different, Margaret. I'm disgusted. And I'm not getting involved in politics, who's done who and who. I think it's an absolute disgrace that the way you in particular, Kim and all that, and all the members of this council, past and previous, have worked to get that to where it is now. And I believe, as you quite rightly said, that yourself, David, leader of the town council, and Peter Huxtable, and perhaps, well, anybody who can speak to whatever the combined services have come up with, or what they had put into their brains, or I don't mean it that way, what they honestly believe they're doing right, which seems to be a problem here. They seem to believe that they have the right to do what they've done. I think somebody with a bit of decorum, not me, needs to sit down with them and talk to them.
Mr. Chairman, it's not a case of not wanting to invite the Lord Lieutenant. This was mooted at different points in the past. And because of the security issue, and at one point there weren't 44 deputies. The Lord Lieutenant went to the main event in Nottingham, and that was that. If the combined services had contacted me and asked me to ask the Town Council to invite the Lord Lieutenant, I would have brought it to you and said, if you would like me to, I would do so. We invited the Lord Lieutenant to the Freedom Parade. We invited the Lord Lieutenant when the plaque for John Dorley's Warren was unveiled in the square. We invited the Lord Lieutenant when we had the memorial service for 1914 in St Helens. It's not a case of not wanting to invite them. I say it had been mooted in the past, and it was decided because of various security, etc., not to go down that road. But if that was what people wanted, we would make the invitation. All they had to do was approach the Town Council.
Could I just speak through you, Mr. Mayor? I just think I'm just utterly appalled on everyone's behalf. I think this councillor is responsible for this, and we all know who it was. It's a gross breach of protocol. Absolutely. I don't think there's anybody in this room that would disagree with that. It's totally out of order. I think the combined services, have been misled by this character, and I think it's wrong. And I think our feelings should certainly be known. I don't know what you can do, Margaret, to turn this matter around.
Well, as I say, Mr. Chairman, with Reverend Cannon, if the town council are happy with us, I'll try and hold a meeting with a member of Combined Services. I need you to tell me that you want me to continue or you don't want me to continue. I know Dave will make a statement.
Can I say one thing? So I was basically going to say what Janice has said. I don't think we can blame the combined services. I mean, I'm not just going to say that because I'm an owner of it. They've been misled. And I think the guys, I've said to them on many occasions, as I've previously said, to come in and talk to you lot. And there's one person, I'm not going to keep saying his name because it's not fair, but there's one person that's been telling them, no, don't come and talk to the town council. And like I said, I don't think you can't blame the combined services as a group because I don't think it's their fault. You know, it's one person that's been misleading them, and it's just wrong, and they need to know that as well.
For clarification, I don't understand it. In the past, I have worked very closely with Combined Services. When they put the War Memorial up, I advised this protocol. They asked me to read it, the service on the square and the service of dedication, which I did. They sent me beautiful flowers. When they had their colours, they invited me to the event, which was, they asked to wind it up. Again, they asked me to that event again for the advice of the protocol, etc. I don't know what the situation is or why it happened.
Could I just ask what's he likely to gain from it? I can't see, what's going to gain.
Let's hear it from the leader, can we?
You've probably seen this letter that we did. I do want to send it if we decide as a council we want to send it. But I really want to make my views. John McGrath said about someone who's totally rational. Perhaps I'm not at the moment because I'm not very good at showing myself, but I am really angry. I've had a phone call from John Longden this morning at 9:30, and apart from being very abusive about one of his colleague councillors, he then said, his words were, they are just inviting an extra guest and are assuming the town council is doing everything else. That's one thing. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the situation is totally and completely unacceptable. Either the town council is organising this event, or they are. They have written to the Lord Lieutenant, falsely representing the fact that they did this, and whilst I accept what Richard says about the combined services, they are a group of people and they're not a bunch of mice. They don't have to listen to what one person keeps telling them. I know of the combined services, and they have, and a number of other members of the combined service have been on to me year after year about their order of service. But this situation is totally unacceptable. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have to go out stewarding, Joanne doesn't have to go out stewarding, we don't have to spend £2,500 of the council's money on closing the roads. I'm quite happy to save that money. But I think this is totally, utterly unacceptable. The chair of the combined services wrote that email. Not John Longden.
It was the secretary.
Or secretary, okay, Mr. Bartlett.
Yeah.
But they wrote it, not him. So it was done with them as well, and I hold some of those combined services to blame. At no time have they contacted us. If it wasn't for Richard actually showing us those emails, we would not have been aware of it, which I find disgraceful. The security implications of everything else are out of order. Now, to my mind, as far as I'm concerned, it shows that the combined services, not all of them, but it shows that the overall thing, that they are arrogant, they're ignorant, and not even prepared to show common courtesy, as I would expect. Imagine if any other organisation just goes out and says, well, we're inviting someone, or we're inviting this thing. It would be utter chaos. Now, as far as I'm concerned, it seems to me that the only thing that combined services appear to be interested in, or some of them, is their own egos and their own self-importance. Their order of service, that they want to be the first one doing that. As military people, I am disgusted that they have forgotten what Remembrance Sunday is about. And that is really the thing. It is not about who they invite, who lays the first wreath. It is about remembering the fallen. And I'm utterly and completely disgusted. And I think we should send them this letter and let them respond to them. I don't see why we should go crawling to them. They are totally and utterly at fault. And I think we should get this sorted once and for all. Either we're doing it or we're not. And I'd rather save our money, save those of us who spend the time doing all the stewarding and all the other things. But I think this has got to be stopped now. Well, I'm sorry for raising my voice.
That speech you made it to all of you.
Councillor Moran.
No, it's not all of it.
Can we take a vote on this, as whether or not to send this letter? Because I think we should send it.
We should.
I think we should make our feelings known, because this is, I'm sure every single one of you will feel the way I feel, that it's absolutely appalling.
Can I just suggest that we just amend the first bit, because I don't want to put it all onto Richard's
Yes.
sort of thing. Something to the effect that, according to emails that have been passed on to the town council, we understand this as a situation.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Dave, because I know where it says, Richard has informed me that Stapleford branch is organised.
You did do
I didn't actually say they want to organise,
that.
I just passed on the information.
I think we want to make that clear.
I don't want lynching when I go and see him next month.
No.
Thank you for
So
clarifying
we
that.
put that, it's come to our notice, we don't.
Yeah, and they gave me permission to send you them emails. It's not something, I haven't done it down their back.
That's
They
fine.
told me I can do that.
And can I add that I would like to invite a member of Combined Services to meet with myself and and leaving the council.
Yes.
Are you happy if I add that on?
Firstly, if I may, I would totally agree with the leader of the council. I will second his proposal. Regarding the vote, Mr. Mayor, I don't think it is necessary to actually put it to a vote around this chamber tonight. I really don't.
Mr. Chairman, it will then be recorded as a vote.
Councillor Darby.
The thing that's confusing me is, I can't understand how the Lord of Ten accepted this on behalf of the Combined Services instead of Council.
Mr. Chairman,
It just seems wrong to me that it should be able to hijack the Lord of Tenant.
Mr. Chairman, what happens is, the Lord Lieutenant receives thousands of invitations every year, which is why there are 44 deputies. And the Lord Lieutenancy, like every other organisation, it has one person who's dealing with all the civic procedure. They take it for granted that when an invitation is sent to the Lord Lieutenant, it is sent from the organisation who is organising the event. And events like Remembrance Sunday are organised by so many different organisations up and down the country that it could be anyone that's charged with organising it or has done so for whatever historical reason. So they wouldn't phone up and say, are you organising it? I mean, they fill in the form, they say, who is there's a question asked you, who's organising it, and they put their name, where they should have put things for town council. Then they would have contacted the town council rather than Combined Services.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have been inviting anyone on behalf of the town council, because the only people that can make an invitation from the town council is basically myself as responsible. And that's it.
I should say all members of the council.
You know when, David, you probably asked this, so I I right, some of the combined services stand up and they read out the names of people. Are they invited to do that? Do you, or have they requested to do that? Are they involved in it? You know?
And I better tell you that obviously, you know, some councils know about it, other councils don't. When the service was held in the church, it was a member of the church who read that, and we were usually had some connection either through someone who had died and was on the list of honour, or they were an ex-military, or they were one of the leaders from the church. When it was decided to move the service outside to make it more, encompass more people, at this point, combined services wanted to read it. And I did at that point say, well, perhaps we should move it around every year. And the minister at that time, again, had concerns about, it should be more inclusive, it should be moved around. But the town council at the time, I was looking there, decided, let combined services do it. And that is why they read it. They have a right to read it. Combined services organisations up and down the country, social clubs. Yeah.
Just what a certain person has done, being involved in it and not letting us know, does that go against a councillor's code of conduct or something like that? Is there anything that we can, can we put on the sad side for a bit?
If you wish, you can report it to the standards officer at Roxhill if you feel it warrants it, if you wish to.
What's standard office?
It's replied at the moment. Chief Executive at Roxhill is responsible for standards and
No standard office.
and I will be copying the Chief Executive at Roxhill and the Civic Officer at Roxhill into this letter, because obviously it has trickle-down effect, because Roxhill Borough Council are represented at this event. The Mayor or Deputy Mayor or past Mayor will attend to lay the wreath, etc. for Roxhill, and also it's Roxhill Borough Council Square, which I hire to use for the event, so I will need to let the Chief Executive know what is going on with that.
Chair, are we having a vote?
Yes, that's what
I have, Mr. Chairman, I have a proposal from you have a proposal from Councillor Mrs. Gould, seconded from Councillor Mrs. Brindle, that I send this letter on behalf of the Town Council in the very strongest terms, and that I invite a member of combined service to meet myself and the referee canon and the Council to try and sort this problem out and report back to the next meeting. So all in favour, Mr. Chairman?
Can we have a recorded vote?
Yeah, I can
It's
record it,
unanimous.
yeah. So can I see all in favour, please?
Abstain on that answer.
John, are you sticking your hand up as well? All in favour? Yeah, you can put it down there.
You
I'm going to recorded vote, that's
You
fine.
can't vote.
Yeah, thank you. We have an abstention from
But
Councillor.
you haven't got any choice in that.
No, I've got to abstain because I'm
Yes,
able to be
yes, and I
right.
will put
That's very
you
common.
will be declared.
I'm learning.
Anyone, you can't vote.
Oh, no.
Anyone who doesn't, is there anyone against the motion? I don't think there is. Actually, I will record that, but it will be recorded in the minutes. Thank you very much for that. I'm sorry that item took so long, but
Apart from that, they're all good events, aren't they?
it's very worthwhile, and the people who attend are very grateful. Thank you.
Sorry, just before we move on now, because that's the bit negative what we've been doing. The Remembrance Service is a good event, lots of people come, right, and can we just thank the Town Clerk and Kim for all the work they do, because they do a lot of work in that and they deserve some thanks, so thank you to both of them.
Thank you very much for that.
Actually, councillor, we always do that, especially
Yeah. Well, thank them again afterwards, very much.
I appreciate the time councillor.
and Ken.
Yeah, you've got to thank Kim, haven't you?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you have in front of you a report with regards to the website. Councillor McRae has asked that we form a working party to discuss this. I just want to know what we should do. I have to ask you, because forming a working party obviously has financial and time implications, so I have to have an agreement with the Town Council to do that.
Well, I'll propose it, Marlon, and then someone second it.
Just one little question. I mean, I'm think we should look into it. It's always but why is it a financial implication?
Because if you're forming an official working party of the town council, you have to have a clerk to report back. If it's official, you have to have a clerk.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. I am checking that.
I need to check something then before.
Yeah, no, you're the boss.
Is when you say a working party, is there any reason why we can't look at websites and then report back?
No. But because you said a working party, I would take it as a working
Yeah.
party. Yeah.
Well, it
What
doesn't have to be a working party, it could just be some people sitting around the table
Can I
on
just
a Tuesday afternoon.
the procedure then before we start?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to change my wording then, so it doesn't have to be a working group, if that helps.
Could we have
It can be just a meeting on whatever,
Right,
whatever.
if members would like to go and look at look at how websites are provided and work with other towns and parishes and bring that information back.
That's different.
That's different.
Yeah,
That's why
I think that's what we meant, I just worded it wrong, it's my
that
fault.
it wasn't working, but I thought it was.
I was using big words and I should have.
Accrue, Margaret, accrue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the town council would like the leader and councillor Craig and if there's anyone else
Anyone else would like?
who would like to look at and what they would like, if they want to change it or whatever, and then bring that information back to the town form into a report and report to the next town council.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
He meant that at the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I wasn't quite wrong word.
You want to propose something to that effect?
Indeed, I've got no to propose you. I'll wait till you come back.
So, can the meeting agree, Mr Chairman, through you, that it would like the leader of the council, Councillor McCrae, is there anyone else interested in being involved in this?
If we send an email out to everybody, and if anyone wants to chuck some ideas in and get back to us, is that fair?
I'll send an
Because
email.
there might be people out there.
Yeah.
I'll send an email out to all councillors. I'd like to, and if you get the information,
Yeah.
I would like to present it in the report. We might want to invite some people along to make a presentation if you feel that's appropriate.
Yeah.
So if you get the information, then bring it to me, tell me what you want to do, and I'll sort it into the report for the next meeting. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me. Is that all right, Chris?
Yeah.
Mr Mayor?
Can I just suggest perhaps that if we arrange to go and see somebody, then if we just circulate around and then if anybody wants to accompany us, they can come along.
Yeah, we'll have a jolly in my car again, not we?
Yes.
Yeah,
Council tax then.
councillors on top.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if we circulate, if say we're going to see a company, if you circulate around, if somebody can always come back and say,
Yeah.
Rachel, can I come along then or something like that?
Yeah.
Because I don't want it just to appear that it's just two of us doing it, I want everybody else to have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Councillor Brown, because we need to spell Braille correctly.
All right, I missed that.
Sorry, so if you're happy, Mr Chairman, the meeting is happy with that situation. That's what I kept thinking about having a steering group. You do it formally.
Precisely.
Whereas this will be a lot quicker.
And it saves you the work.
It's finding time to visit in that. It's not Mr Chairman, it's our committee, it's the new planning, I'm running out of time.
Town centre management needs to receive feedback from the town clerk.
Mr Chairman, I attended the last meeting. Myself, Paul Sweeney, and Mark Bathurst and Luke Kearney were there. We were all very disappointed with regards to the garden competition that no businesses took part. I wasn't particularly surprised because town council has tried this before on several occasions. However, town council team has asked me if the town council would be happy to try it again next year. And what they're planning to do is buy businesses a hub to get them started.
If they don't do it next year, the year after they'll buy them the plants, then we get there.
Margaret, without taking the Mickey flower, or Margaret's building flowers. But
You're a councillor, so you can take part.
well, no, well, Tracy could, who runs the pub for me.
I can say, Mr Chair, sorry about that. So hopefully we will have a better response next year. So we're looking at that. We also mentioned Christmas, and that's coming up. And there is a meeting taking place with regards to what's going to happen at Christmas later in the year. So I'm hoping at the next meeting we'll be able to report back to you on that as well. If it was mentioned at Town Centre Team, it was also mentioned with regards to the improvements, what could be done. There's a meeting next Thursday, which I again will be attending for Town Centre Team, and I'll report back to you on that. I don't know if anyone's got any questions.
You have an exciting life.
Oh, sorry, I've got some time tips. Sorry. Yeah, that photo threw me then, that's brilliant. We look like, I don't know, I'm glad you guys can't see it, but it'll be on the website soon, so.
It's on.
Oh, it's on the website. Yeah, I had got, at the last meeting we had, don't keep passing it back to me, where we had the last time I'll start again. When we had the last meeting, I said I'd get some facts and figures on the free Wi-Fi. I've got all them, but unfortunately our printers decided they don't want to work. Ours, as in town council, not mine, mine still works. But I got some figures and some charts and some pretty stuff that I was going to put up and try and sound dead clever, but it ain't going to happen. So if anyone wants me to email them, or if I email them to Town Clerk, and you could put them in with the minutes or whatever, and it basically says there's about 3,000, about between 3,000 and 4,000 people a day coming into Stapleford. I don't know where, so we're trying to work out where it's picking them up. If 2 buses go past with 50 people on and then they come back a bit later, is it picking them up? This is what we need to know. So the town team's contacted the people who's done the Wi-Fi to find that out, because if that is what it's picking up, you know, shopkeepers have spoke to me, and you've only got to look out, you know, there ain't that many people on the high street. It'd be nice if there was.
As soon as you walk, as I walk down here towards Lloyd, I get a ping to say that I'm, you know...
No, it's not people that's logged onto the Wi-Fi. You don't have to be using the Wi-Fi. The footfall figures are separate to the Wi-Fi. It works up on phones. So even if you're not on the Wi-Fi, your phone sends out a signal.
Yeah, that's what, as soon as I walk along, it
No, but you wouldn't know.
So it wouldn't be picking me up, wouldn't it? If I'm getting the ping, it's picking me up.
No. What is, you wouldn't even know. It's not, if you connect to free Wi-Fi, that's a separate thing altogether. You wouldn't even know it's counted here. So 20 people could walk down the street, 2 using the free Wi-Fi, the rest of them not using the Wi-Fi, still picking them up. So.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I know I've been shocked you speak to me as well about it. I'm hoping, that's why I didn't mention it in my report, because I'm hoping at this meeting Thursday it will be clarified.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Blue Elephant or whatever they're called to get back to us with it. Because it does sound a bit hard. It sounds a lot.
That's it. And if anyone's wondering at this side, it's just so nice to see 5 councillors all together from different political parties, all smiling.
No, it's good fun, that.
Frankie wants to circulate it to the audience as well.
As
it's on the website.
So that is why we want to do technical planning. So that is why I put it out. Should we do it all the time. If there's nothing else in town, as I say, town centre team, I will be attending a meeting on Thursday. I will report back on that. Christmas, there's a
It's on the
second meeting
website.
with Roxburgh Council later in the month, and I will report back on that as well.
I look forward to that one.
Combined services are
Oh, controversial.
what we're inviting them in.
Thank you.
Planning.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, neighbourhood planning, we are getting there. I hope the final pull together should be next week. We have a draft neighbourhood plan, we have a draft leaflet. I'm just now waiting on 1 or 2 logistics to be sorted out, and then I hope I will be making arrangements for public meetings. We are definitely getting there. Councillor Pearson's been out at Lady, he's been out at the Carnival, he's spoken to lots of people. Councillor McCrae, Councillor McGrath, Councillor Darby, Councillor Windle, have all been out at various events, and has Teresa Needham, who's been fantastic, one of our volunteers, letting people know about the neighbourhood plan, and hopefully we will get, all as well, a lot of feedback. But we can only get the feedback that the people are willing to give us. The information will be sent to every resident in town. every business in the town, and after that it's up to them. I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything about it.
I was going to say, I know we had a really, really slow start, but we're getting there, and it's nice that the residents, I'd say they're probably leading it more than the councillors, which is what we wanted all the time. And some of the residents have worked really, really hard, and you all know, I mean, hopefully when it's all done we can get a bunch of flowers or something, I don't know. But it's really, and it's nice to see everyone working together, and we're actually getting somewhere, aren't we? And it's half decent, isn't it? So we're getting there.
Mr. Chairman, it was all, this council always said it wanted, it's the town council's neighbourhood plan, but we wanted the local resident and business input into it, and it had to be 5, 6 people around the table here could just say we'll do it, but we have worked to be inclusive, and I think that has really worked well. Thank you.
Update of Broxton Borough Council local plan.
Mr. Chairman, you should have received an email from me earlier this month giving you details of where you can find the main points for Stapleford. If anyone hasn't, can you email me and I will email it to you again.
Councillor.
Mr. Mayor, looking at this, first of all, looking at this is part 2 of the local plan. Part 1 of the local plan seems to be mixed in with part 2. For Stapleford itself, not a lot to jump up and down about. I haven't finished writing up yet. It has a lot of bones and no meat on it. Regarding parts of Stapleford, which we're supposed to be keeping an eye on, at the moment I can't see a lot they're proposing, except for putting things in places where other buildings are already lived in. So it's at the moment I'm not happy probably about it at all.
Yeah, well, Councillor Griddle knows what some of my thoughts are because he borrowed my copy. They've got my comment scribble on it. The thing is, what I would suggest is, if people haven't had a chance to get hold of it, it isn't in. As Broxton have not put it down for consultation yet, I don't know whether any of the borough council have got any idea when they're going to put it down for consultation. We've been told by Stephen Saunders September. What I would suggest is that we keep this on the agenda for the next meeting to give anybody more chance to read it if they've got the chance. If you can't manage to find it where it is, because it is not that easy to find on Broxton's website at the moment, please if you contact the town clerk, I'm sure she'll be quite happy, well not happy, but I'm sure she'll be prepared to run you a copy of, but it would either have to be the blank copy that Richard's got or the one that's got my scribbled comments on it. Perhaps if
I've asked for a colour.
Yeah, I've asked for
me as well, so when I'm done with that,
if you've done with it, it would be appreciated.
I've got to get it first, but when I'm done with
I don't think it's fair to actually circulate a copy that's got my scribbled comments on it, because that might influence what you think about it.
You can't even read your scribbles, don't worry about it.
Well, it doesn't say Derby if you... anyway, can I suggest you do that, because it does mean that people have got a lot more time, and as it's not already out for public consultation by the time the next meeting comes, hopefully, maybe, so there's no rush for us to make comments.
Mr. Chairman, I am hoping to get a couple of hard copies of it.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting on them coming.
Allotments report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you should have a copy of my brief report on this. The hedges have been cut. I wasn't altogether happy with how the hedge in Newland Lane was cut. I did go back to them with regard to it. I'm keeping a close eye on this because I worried it might need to be another cut. However, I will be keeping a close eye on it. It will come to budget. I've had issues reported to me with regard to the pathway at Albany, and as I keep telling stockholders, the allotments are not meant for taking cars onto. However, I will be, when the leader of council and myself did the last inspection, we didn't have a problem with the pathways, but then there has been a lot of rain since then. I will have them looked at, but there is no way we would be paving or putting tarmac cabins down in those pathways. It's not safe, and it's not felt to be the type of covering you should have on allotment sites. And I have checked out with Brockstone, so I will be having it checked if any members contact you. With regard to yellow lines at the entrance to Albany allotment, again, I've been trying to get that done for 20 years, as have other councillors. No, I cannot go out to the pot of yellow paint and paint them, and asked me to do last week. You need a traffic order. And the local businesses object. So it is being discussed. If any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
May I suggest that we move on? Time ticking,
Still got a lot to get into.
if you want that.
I'm issues in Stapleford.
Yes, Mr Chairman, can I invite the Legal Council and Councillor McCree to lead this particular matter?
Okay, we're doing these map things all.
Yeah, well, basically, when it comes down to it, there are two sort of issues. One is about the amount of potholes and everything else, which obviously is about maintenance. And the other thing is about the possibility of money being able or being available for projects so that we can actually call on. So Richard's run 2 meetings to actually look at those, and he's presented them very well. So I'm going to let him do the presentation.
Thank you.
Which I'm sure, well, I've seen him do it. I know he's very good at it. I've got some notes on it that I can always add to. What I'm looking long term is, or if you listen to it and come up with any extra ideas or your thoughts on what we're looking at as new things that we want money for. What I would put to the council when we've done our presentation is that they let Richard and I write a proper full report that the town council can then forward along, assuming that you're in agreement with all the ideas of what we're doing and we'll put together. Because I don't really think it's fair for the town clerk to have to sit down and write everything down, whereas we've got the bits put together. And again, similar to what we did with the computers and the website thing, if we suggest when we're meeting that particular morning, anybody wants to come and join us, please come and join us, and then we'll get something as a nice report. I've got a few things to say about the potholes and highways, but perhaps my bit's fairly short. So,
I'll try and make my bit short then as well, shall I?
it's all yours.
Right. Yeah, we organised 2 meetings, but we didn't put Montrose Court because that was an easy venue to get. Sorry, I'm behind you, you can't see. And what we did, we found out, I found out off the chair, I think it's the chairman of the county council, that each county council has got up to 5 projects that they can do for the area. So it's a new thing. I wouldn't say fixing potholes is a project because the council should be doing that anyway.
That's why.
So we organised 2 meetings. We invited, different. Well, in fact, the thing went out to everybody. All councillors were invited. We had a mixture of councillors there and residents. Sadly, the county councillors didn't reply to any of the emails or even turn up, so we just thought we'll get on with it anyway. Do you know what I mean? So we come up with some ideas. We had a public meeting at Pasture Road, which I don't know if it was. You've been to all of them, haven't you? So different people chucking ideas in the pot. I'm getting my roads right here. We've got what we've done. We broke it down. So we've got Pasture Road because we just picked different projects. So we've got Pasture Road, which is split into 2. We've got Church Street, Derby Road through the town centre, and Nottingham Road, which went from the road up to Newland Lane. And so what we just roughly what we said was, because this was different suggestions from different members of the public, and then we just put it all up.
But Richard, this one here, see which one you're doing.
Right, so this one here is Pasture Road, and it's Pasture Road from Kennedy Drive to the bottom of Vickings Lane in the junction with Church Street. And there wasn't that much along there. We all know about the parking and that, but that's not like a new project. And one person, the idea was, at the bottom of, I can't do it right, so you can all see, at the bottom of Vickings Lane, you all kind of know where I mean, don't you? Yeah. One of the people that live on it said like a mini roundabout, because you've got one at the top of Vickings Lane, and you've got one at the other end of Pasture Road and all that lot. So it's not like the car do it, they can, but like I said, these are just ideas, and we're hoping that our county councillors support this, and if they want to put their names on it and say they don't want it county council, who cares? And the more we ask for, they might chuck a bit off and we might get a little bit. So we're going to ask for lots. So if you can think of anything else, or if you think something's wrong, just tell us and we can change it.
Which
So,
is it? What exactly? Where?
right, so the bottom of King's Lane Church in Pasture Road, it was a request for a mini roundabout. So we just found a picture up. It's a mini roundabout. I'm sure it will.
Chair, these are only things that's come
Yeah, that's why I
from
wanted
the
to-
floor
Yeah.
when we had the meeting.
Yeah,
that's
it was
all.
ideas for everybody. And we,
I've just asked Margaret to just note the little area.
Yeah.
So then the second one was Pasture Road, and it went from the junction with Trowel Road and Ilkester Road down to Kennedy Drive, because it's a long road, we split it into two. And we all know there's lots of parking problems up the other end, outside the church and the garages and everything. And what we don't want to do anything that affects the businesses, because you need these businesses, you know, they employ a lot of people, so we've got to work together. But at the same time, the safety of people has got to come first before any profit and all that lot. So one of the things that we looked at was what can be done on the grass verges near the church, down out near Albany, whatever you want to call it. And there was like these, I don't know if you see when you go down Aubrey's Lane, you've got this like concrete where the grass grows through. You know, I don't know what you call it. It's like a concrete sheeting. Like like a matting. So you can still drive over it, but you can cut the grass and that. So it still looks nice, but you can cut it as well. But that was quite expensive. So we looked at different versions, and there's like rubber and plastic matting. But when we spoke to people that live down that end, they were saying they shouldn't be parking on the grass verges, which I agree with, they shouldn't be. Kids did plant flowers and they look lovely in that. So it was, do you put no parking on the grass verge signs up? People are probably going to ignore that. So the two choices were either bollards, or even, you see areas where they put big rocks up and paint them white, and it's cheap as anything, you can put some flowers in. So that was the request for there, was they shouldn't be parking on the grass verges. Let's stop them being able to park on the grass verges. And so that was
That would be a reasonable way of trying to...
Yeah. So when we spoke with the police today, what they suggested was, and I thought it was a pretty good idea, so I'll just chuck it out, you tell me if you don't agree with it. They said on the side where the businesses are, a line that's time restrictive on the actual side of the businesses because the pavement's pretty thin. Then on the other side of the road, where all the verges are and that, you do limited parking bays, so like call it 30 minutes, because you're probably going to a garage or something if you're along there. You can drop your car off, they can move it within 30 minutes, and you can put the next one there. So that, because the pavement's near enough double on that side, isn't it? So that was something that the police said today, and I thought that was pretty good. So I don't know what you thought of that.
Yes.
But that's helping the businesses as well. It's not about getting rid of them, because that's wrong. And then the other request for Pasture Road was, near the entrance to the allotments, this sign that says whatever speed you're doing when you're going along. That was put there when the school used to be, where the church is now. The school's not there anymore. And when you come out to Aubrey's Lane and you turn right, it don't get you going there fast anyway, because you haven't got the time to build up that speed. So what the request was, move it down near the school. So after Kennedy Drive, near Silicon Ultimax, or along that stretch, because we've already got it, let's make use of it, let's just move it. It's going to be cheaper than getting a new one. Then the other request was pedestrian crossings. Now, there was a petition a few years ago, whenever it was, I can't remember, lots of people, and it was residents and all the school and that, they was for it, and the county council had the money to do it. And it was going to be, you know where the bus stop is, opposite the motorbike place, you know what I mean? It was going to be there, but the residents didn't want it. So to me, the county council kind of owed us a crossing, because they was going to do it and they didn't, so, you know. So what the two locations we looked at and discussed, one of them was, one of them was up near the actual church, outside there somewhere, and then the other one was near the school, somewhere, but we don't know where. Then it came down to what type of crossings, because you've got different types. You've got the ones that are just painted like outside on the high street here, the zebra crossing, I think it is, which is probably cheaper. Or if you've got your one where you press your button and your lights flash like in the town centre, they're going to bring more money. So we said two of these zebra crossings, because you might get two of them for the price of one of them. I don't know. But
I think money wise, if we put for a Pelican in, they're just going to turn around and no regard of money.
Absolutely.
If we do something of that sort, ask for two, we might get one. And at a reasonable price rather than asking for a fortune.
Yeah. And then the last thing along Pasture Road was, up near the bottom of the crescent, you've got that great big dirty bushy tree and everything, and we think that probably belongs to a utilities facility, because it's like a gas or electric thing in there. So if we can find out who they are, Also, it's not a project of
Probably just
sorts,
get
but
that done.
it just needs chopping down and cutting. And you can see all the way up the road, because as you can see from that picture, and you lived it, it's a blind spot, you know, so that should have been the next step.
the chair again, what is the exact point of the tree?
Sorry, it's on the junction of the Crescent and
Pasture
Pasture
Road.
Road.
Okay,
Yeah. So that was roughly that one. I'm talking quick because it's quite a lot. Right. So then we move on to Church Street. Church Street wasn't too bad. Again, it's not about the
Let me move around because I'm in your way.
So the junction of Toton Lane and Church Street, the road train you want to call it, coming down, there's a few people that requested, let me put that through, a red light camera, because they said there's a lot of people that just whisk down Toton Lane and jump it and they just go for it. Well, a red light camera, it either gets you or it doesn't. It's not like a speed camera, you can argue, you've either jumped it or you haven't. So that was a request for on that junction, so it's
Is that
yeah, near the traffic. So it's facing Church Street, coming the bottom of Toton Lane.
Yeah, so is it the one coming down from Totten Lane, or is it the one coming out?
You're facing up Town Lane, wasn't
It's
it?
facing up.
No, it was down Toton Lane. So it's facing down Toton Lane, then jumping it, going across the Church Street, or spinning around going up Nottingham Road. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So it's on the same side of the
Yes,
road,
always.
somewhere over there. That's where it was, wasn't it? And then the other thing was a bit further down. You've got outside the health centre, you've got the pedestrian crossing which is already there, and it's brilliant, but sometimes you can't see because cars are backed up both ways. So one of the requests was, outside the, the car park that's already sinking, was to put one of these, that's supposed to be yellow, one of these no parking bays on it at crossings, you know what I mean? And you could even do that in the roads if you wanted. So no parking.
No entry.
Yeah,
No
so
entry.
that...
No entry parking.
Yeah, no entry thing. So, you know, and if you did that on the, not on the library side, but on the health centre side, but in front of the car park, it's going to create, 2 car lengths.
Yeah.
It's going to save a life, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So that was that request there. And a bit further down, just after the best pub in Stapleford, but I'm not going to say what it's called. Not actually, not near Larry's, it's near the cross.
John, not Rafi.
So anyway, this is the daycare centre, and this is the little alleyway where the kids run out and that, and it's never happened, and we hope it never does. But one of their ideas was one of these, these guardrails, whatever you call them. You see them at the end of alleyways, don't you, to stop people running out. So, yeah, barrier, that's the word. So that was pretty good. So that was all for Church Street. But like I said, if anyone else wants to chuck anything different in,
I've got something I want to add that was brought up at the traffic and transport thing. No, I haven't put it. You don't know what it is. But it was suggested some time ago that we have a sign on the road at the top of Albert Street pointing out that it's no entry. 5 times this week I've nearly got run down by cars coming the wrong way down Albert Street. I've only walked up the road 5 times this week.
And Church Lane, Dave.
Yes.
Yes.
Albert Street. Every single time I have crossed that road this week, and one of them was an articulated lorry
That's disgraceful.
and cars. And the suggestion that we put forward there is no great thing, just a marking on the road
There,
at the top
on the top.
of the Derby Road, pointing out no entry.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious that some of these people, particularly the articulated lorry, have just used it as a cut through.
and a lot of them,
And that isn't costly either.
they've probably not updated the sat navs, because I bet a lot of old sat navs are going to take you down that
But
road.
just something that's a bit clearer than just a sign. And perhaps could suggest at Church Lane as well.
Well, you see it, to me, I see it all the time. I just laugh.
Around 21 notice board, Mr. Leader.
You've got another one you made earlier.
So yeah, so we're now on Derby Road, so it's from Station Road, Train Bridge, all the way to the road, you're not in the road stretch, and you're all going to love this one. It was your speed humps. I know apparently there might be taking out in Nottingham or something, there's all them, something like that happening.
There's a possibility.
I always think if you don't ask, you don't get. And the more we ask, we spoke to, I can't say every business on the high street, the majority of them. And the majority of them we spoke to are for it because people go around the other way. There's a few businesses that want to keep them and it makes it a difficult
Can I
one.
just give you a point of clarification here? When I sent the comments to Laura Trussler, she did reply to me on the speed humps, the one that I know all about, where they did all the testing, and there's no way to take them out because of traffic safety.
Yeah.
However, I've since had an email saying that another officer who I have never heard of but we'll be contacting you with regards to this matter in the near future. So as soon as I have the information, I will pass it on, but until I get the information.
And we've also got John Cotty, Councillor John Cotty, who's the highways local county coming down.
Yeah.
There's a programme on the television.
Through the chair, please. Yeah, put your hand up. Thank you.
There's a programme on the television, not the Daily Mail, the television, and it said that Nottingham are going to remove roads.
But that's Nottingham.
Yeah.
Nottingham
Well,
Because pollution.
What we did last year, there was a petition done, and it went around all the, I've missed that, so I'm going back to it. There was a petition, and it went around all the businesses, lots of people signed it, and it was actually, I asked the county council the other day what's happened to this petition, because we've not heard from them, and the other week, sorry, and they replied, I'm not going to read it all out, but it's on here, and they basically said that they'd been given the petition by Stan, which was the former county councillor, on the 12th of January 2017, and it basically said they'll get back to the people that's done the petition, and the names on it was John, myself and Red, you know, and they've not got back to any of us, have they? So we're still waiting from January to hear from them. And I'm not blaming the current county councils because it could have been the previous ones, but nobody's got back to them and told us what's happening, so we don't know. But this councillor, John Cotty's kindly agreed to come to Stapleford, and when we've got a date, we'll let people know, and we'll have a wander around with it. And we didn't ask for the speed bumps to be removed, because if you say that, they're going to say no. What we said was a review of the traffic management in the town centre, because it sounded pretty good as well. So it's kind of like, well, if you take them out, but you've got to put that in, because we don't want people whizzing up and down.
No.
There's different things you can do. You can do chicanes. You can have your bumps like the one outside the pound stretcher. It's not a speed bump as such, it's more smoother, isn't it? You know, I was in Stapleford this morning, I watched 2 fire engines whizzing through. I don't know if anyone heard them, it was the first thing this morning. And they had to slow down for every single speed bump. And I've also been told, which I didn't know till recently, and I think it's terrible, ambulances, when they get called out, everything's, you might know about this, is calibrated. And when they're bouncing over speed bumps, it knocks it all down. So when they get to people, it's going over, it's all uncalibrated. So it's little things like that.
I can't take my mum now.
Yeah, and there's lots of people that don't, but we're losing business. So we're still waiting for that, but hopefully when he comes out. So that was just back to that one.
What roads are on here? Nottingham.
Yeah, sorry, this is not in the road. So the speed bumps was one.
Derby Road.
Sorry, Derby Road, sorry. Yeah, Station Road to Nottingham Road, sorry, I'm reading the wrong bit. Sorry, it's Derby
Road.
So your speed bumps, a different traffic management system. Your well, they look like pedestrian crossings, but they're absolutely, you know, there's not anything there, is there? Dave's got loads of pictures here, so if you want to have a look. They're absolutely, they need sort of, they're terrible, aren't they?
But that's down to repair.
Yeah, so it's not a project as such.
What's the bitch about repairs on that?
And then the other ones here, and you're quite famous here, Carl, a lot, because you're on Google Images, which is hilarious, but I won't tell anyone you're driving back on the pavement, because that's...
Oh!
And it's only you.
It looks even better blown up, it's hilarious. But anyway, so the parking bays, and there's probably 4, because we've got 4 pictures, so there must be 4, along the road. They're on this side, they're on the... yeah, well, it depends which way you're on.
Yeah.
They're on this side, so perhaps they should put a cycle pavement along there, I don't know. But the parking bays, what one of the requests was to make each one have a disability spot in it, because some people, we know they've got them in the, I'll call it the co-op car park, and we all know where that. There's quite a few in there, but it'd be nice to have them on the actual high streets itself, so people know, you agree with this one, didn't you?
Yeah.
When people come along, alright, someone else might be parked in it, but it's only for an hour's parking, but you know you kind of might have a space there that's a disability on, and if you want to go in, is it two for tea or tea for tea?
2 for tea.
Yeah, you might want to go in there, or there is other coffee shops in Stapleford, that's just as good, but having a space near that, it's going to help people, do you know what I mean? And it might bring more people onto the high street, so that was that for Derby Road. And then the last one was Nottingham Road, which is Derby Road, the Roach, up to Newland Lane, which is like your boundary, isn't it, you know? And it was, what did we say? Again, it was a crossing. And again, it would, actually we spoke about 2 different ones.
Yeah.
We couldn't work out where between
Rycroft.
between Rycroft and Newland Lane, because there's lots of spaces, so we didn't want to say
On the agenda, don't forget,
yeah,
it's got the RTA 1984.
Oh, it's only yellow lines.
So
that's-
that's
we were talking about.
that's yellow line in it, that's a different thing. But we didn't want to give a specific space, because if we said put it there, they might go, you can't. So it was somewhere between Mycroft Street and Newland Lane, because it would benefit the school. You've got busy doctors, dentists and all that lot down here as well. And you've also got these shops up on your ramp codes.
Well, Chairman, for clarification, you're talking about zebra there.
Yeah, I think was that what we said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We stuck with the idea of asking for zebras because we think,
Not American.
No, that's it is a zebra.
we think pelicans will get turned down because of the
And
cost.
then, so that was one
So
location.
the idea is we make them zebras because
And then
we
another
think we've got more
location
chance of
was,
getting them.
and we spoke about, and obviously I can't talk about planning because I'm on the thing, but I'll say Cambridge House, I think I'm alright saying that. You know, it's in here in a picture, we're talking about it. And we talked about a crossing around there somewhere, around that area, because, but again, we don't know where, because it would benefit you. You've got St John's School, you've also got Cambridge House, you know, whatever it's going to be, it's a lot of properties, a lot of people.
Maybe, aren't
And who knows, one day they might let us have an Aldi Crest, you know, so I'm not blaming Chris. We might have an Aldi, and if we've got that, we want people crossing, and you know, it's going to be a busy part of Stapleford eventually, isn't it? You know, and extra 10 houses, there's more people living there as well. So perhaps that's another location, but where on that stretch we don't know. So it was somewhere along there and kind of somewhere along there. And then the state of the road obviously is really bad. If you've got a bike, you don't want to go on a horse.
The other thing that we can add on, I've got a letter saying that they were going to consider parking restrictions on Cemetery Road from January last year,
It's not done now.
and they said that they were looking into it to get back. And in fact, the petition that I took in, well, it wasn't a petition, it was signed by everybody but 2 residents on that road.
Was it for resident parking?
For resident parking. Because, I don't know that you noticed when you and I were up at the cemetery on Monday.
Yeah.
It was horrendous.
Yeah.
All the way up
That
there.
wasn't my problem, anyway.
And there's people parking there. It's not, I'm not going to lay the blame at Sandycliff, because the people I spoke to said there are a lot of people now who, since the parking restrictions on Pinfold, are coming there, dumping the car and leaving it there all day.
So that was...
So we can add that to our little list, because they have actually acknowledged that, but not come back to us.
So like Dave said, if anyone's got anything you want to change, or you think, well, that's rubbish, having a laugh, tell us.
We need to add that in, as Dave says, to the city.
Yeah, well, that's what we can do.
And I'll sit down again now.
Right, Mr. Chairman, can we thank Councillor McCready for here? Right.
Say keep talking.
Does anyone else, Mr. Chairman, have anything else they wish added to this?
Yeah, I was going to say that, Chair. If any of the councillors want to, there's a number of ideas that people have come up to me, but obviously didn't come to the meeting. I mean, we're all the way to Brook Hill. That was supposed to, until we know what the project means or what projects are supposed to be, until we meet this, we'd appreciate all ideas. Go to Margaret.
Mr. Chairman, I sent everyone an email asking them for
Actually,
any issues.
John,
So could you please reply
could you either
to any
get them to
issues?
send them to Richard or me,
Yeah.
rather than Margaret, because Margaret's got enough things to do at the moment. In fact, if you ask them to send them one or the other of us, or both of us, so that Margaret doesn't have to keep doing it.
But I'm going over these as well, Mr. Chairman, so if you can
Get them sent to Richard and I, and then we can do it rather than Margaret have to keep filtering them out.
That would be a help.
I'm trying to get you some overtime, Margaret.
So anything that we do before it's presented, obviously we'll bring it back to the next town council meeting, so you can all, I won't have to stand up doing all that again. You know, you can have a look and then.
But do come back to us. The other thing, they're the things that we want to do as projects. I'm passing around the thing about road repairs. Now, we're not going to do that in the same way. As far as I'm concerned, Laura Trussell is responsible, and they're going to go to her. Again, if there are any road repairs, I'm passing some things around. I've been on Derby Road from West Avenue down to the Roach. I've done to the Roach down to the San Diego boundary. You can see where I've done them. I've done Church Street from Orchard Street just round the corner on Pasture Road to Northwood Street. I've tried to do those that I consider are illegal or near illegal. I've also done the one out here on Cyril Avenue, and you'll find there's a lovely one, some there that are definitely legal, outside Dr. Donny's surgery.
Yeah.
Really good for a county councillor, isn't it?
It's not his fault, we don't know. It's his ears.
Anyway, we're going to forward these. If anybody has got any other bits, I know Margaret's already had one because she fell over, but if there are any bits, get a photograph, zonk them to me, so that we will then send from the town council as a whole, rather than just all from me. We will send the whole lot and say, get hold of these. We've also got them from Councillor Cotty if he comes. Nice little things.
If he comes, that's the one, maybe.
Now, the other thing that I'm going to ask Margaret to do, because I happen to be talking to somebody who works for road repairs, who just happened to be involved in this. And apparently, the county council, or VIA as it is now, have 3 classifications of potholes. Category 1, and I'm going to ask Margaret to request what these are, but apparently category 1, over 40 mil, means it should be repaired within 2 hours.
2 years.
2 hours, according to him. There is also then a category 2 and a category 3, which has time limits on it. So I'm going to find out exactly what these time limits are. The other thing that he suggested to me, which Margaret doesn't know about, we all know that a road is 40 mil. He said to me a pavement is 20 mil. Not 40. And one of the things that he suggested when he was actually looking at these pictures, and he suggested that where the pedestrian crossings are on homes, that should be 20 mil. Because it's pedestrian. And that we should fight for that sort of fact that if it's those pedestrian crossings, if they've got a pothole, then it shouldn't be 40, then it should be 20. Which I think is an eminently sensible suggestion for us to fight for, and that we can use on those, because certainly I think the worst pedestrian crossing outside Cinnamon.
It's the worst, yeah.
That is dreadful.
The one outside West End was repaired, but it's worse again.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. You'll see them up there. But if anybody's got any, please, if you haven't got a camera or you can't send me an email with a photo, tell me exactly where it is and I'll come down with my camera and photograph it. But it is important we can pinpoint exactly. I know I haven't pinpointed these exactly, but I've said there are 200 yard stretches of road. And I think that, well, the gentleman concerned said to me that the state of repairs and everything else is appalling, and that the gentleman who do it, there's a wonderful example of one here where they've actually repaired a pothole and there's a pothole right next to it. But they haven't bothered repairing that because they only repair what yellow lines have done. The other little bit that, I don't know whether we've been sent this from VIA about the 2017-18 integrated transport programme from VIA. Margaret's been ever so kind, and she's outlined all those accounting for Stapleford in yellow.
There's not much yellow on there, is there?
Well, there's one on this sheet. There's nothing on that one. Nothing on that one. Nothing on that one. Coventry Lane Bramcote, speed limit reduction to 50.
I did Mr.
Coventry Lane Bramcote.
So they're in the Stapleford side of Coventry Lane there?
Newington Road, Stapleford, footway maintenance.
Well, that's done.
Pinfold Lane, Stapleford, new pedestrian refuge. I presume that's at the top.
Oh, the lorry burst knocked it over, didn't it?
There's nothing on here.
What's dated?
Replacement street lines all around your area, Richard?
I do moan a lot.
Mr Chairman, there's of them there.
Well, Paul, I would say it's the whole of that estate.
It's what?
Virtually the whole of that estate
I'm happy.
is highlighted.
You've got to tell them.
Well, the only thing is, you know, come on, we know the area. You know, there'll be those nice little, not so bright ones, so it'll be much easier to. I mean, no, I wasn't going to say that.
We're being filmed, councillor.
But yeah, what else have we got? Locations being investigated for inclusion. I've got down here, doesn't say what, Regent Close, Brookhill Street, Central Avenue, Halls Road, Hogarth Close, Melbourne Road, Pasture Road, Turner Close, Wadsworth Road. It doesn't say what they're being investigated for though. And Wellspring Dale.
That's all the roads used for, perhaps it's cycling.
And that's your lot,
Well, they'll only blame the current
the
road.
2017-18.
That's for outstanding, Jackie. I won't worry about that.
No, this is 2017-18.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
This is the new one that has been
This is
discussed
the
by
new
the
admin.
County Council, and this is what's been sent out.
Well, Chair, surely, it's, the budget was, surely they must have reviewed that
Don't know.
now.
Anyway,
I would say,
we'll do our best to get some of these
I
others
can't
done.
believe Brookhill's not on it.
Oh, yeah, it's mentioned. Some say doing what?
Mr Chairman, if anyone's interested, I'll happily forward the email to them. I didn't do it because I thought that you're getting so much stuff. But if you wish me to forward this to you, let me know.
Can you have one of the minutes or something? Would that be easier? Or would it?
No,
I'll tell you what, Margaret. Loan it to me and I'll extract the ones out from the statement and send. I don't mind doing that.
You've got the copy of the actual report, but the actual report is normal.
Councillor McCrae.
Yeah, all I was going to say is, I mean,
I'll select these, I'll type them out and then there can be some.
I'm happy it's all up my end, so thank you for that. Right, now I've just got...
You're the Johnson.
Then Councillor Darby, is there anyone
You
else?
don't do it.
No, Councillor Hull after that.
Right, just a couple of things then. I don't know, yesterday County Council agreed that the bus stop clearway programme for 2017-18 has been passed, which basically means, I only printed out what Melbourne Road, but there's a bus stop at the bottom of Dickens Lane, just near the shops, going up Dickens Lane, so it's on the left or the right, depending which way you're going. That's going to be made a clearway, and what a clearway means is there's no parking Monday to Saturday 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. so Sunday do what you want, after 7, before 7, you know. So the one on Dickens Lane, there's two on, is it New Easton's Road up the top, so I always get that mixed up. New Easton's Road, there's two up there that's been agreed, and then there's 3 on Melbourne Road. There's one at the bottom near Ramsey Close, there's one in the middle near the flat, you know where I mean, and then there's one near Albany Court. So all the 3 on there, they're all being clearway now from 7 till 7, and that was all, I've been told that was passed yesterday, so when they're going to come and do it, I don't know. And the reason they've done that, because I get that residents have been parking in there because parking's really tight up there at the minute, Melbourne Road's terrible, and they've got to park somewhere, but at the same time, the bus needs to pull in up and down to let people with dodgy legs like myself get on and off easier. So, you know, I get both sides of that because people need somewhere to park, but at the same time the bus needs to be able to do its job, and their bus stops because that's what they're for, they're not for parking. But we do need to get the county or the borough or whoever it is to sort some parking out because it's getting ridiculous. And it's just got worse today because, so if anyone wants to read that, I've got it all here. All the people along Ilkeston Road, obviously me being one of them, and I'm not, it doesn't affect me because I've got a garden, I've got no friends, so no one comes around to see me apart from John, and he gives me 2 farm foods leaflets. So what they've got on Ilkeston Road, and it starts, again, if anyone wants to read it, or if you want a photocopy, it starts on the 11th of the 9th, probably change that, and it finishes on the 10th of the 12th. Between 9:30 in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon, there's no parking on Ilkeston Road. And there's loads of residents down there. They haven't got a front garden, they've got no drop curb, and they've got little kids. And when I've argued with the county council today, and I've copied our county council in, as per usual, no reply. I've had emails back from whoever it is at VIA, and I can forward them to you if you want me to. They basically said they need to park on Melbourne Road. Well, they're just about to paint out half of Melbourne Road to make the parking even worse, and now they've said for 3 months you've got to park on Melbourne Road because you can't park in Ilkeston Road, and if you do, there's a possibility that a vehicle could be removed from the street should it impede the works. Yeah, that's what it says. So it's basically saying, yeah, don't park on there. It's ridiculous. And this and all that stuff that Dave said, which there's some good stuff in there, because we're all getting some good things, especially at mine. This is why the traffic and transport meeting was really important.
Yeah.
And I know at the last meeting we had, we was told that the county councils would be contact. What's the future of the traffic and transport meeting? I just wondered if we've had a reply from either of them.
Mr. Chairman, I have,
Margaret's got some replies, which
I
I'm
have
going to go
copied
around.
it through to the leader.
Ruin.
Myself, and, it's up. It only came in the other day. Right, John Cotty has no objections to traffic and transport continuing. Well, okay, fine. But it would be up to the county councillor to organise it and deal with it.
Wow.
And what did they say when they've been asked? They don't reply to me at all.
I have also written, I've emailed, the same email went to Councillor Doddy and Councillor Long. I can understand where Councillor Long would have replied. But I have heard nothing back.
So how long do we wait before we decide to redo something and send stuff in?
Well,
or are we not allowed? Or because that meeting's brilliant.
Mr. Chairman, if you wish to organise your own traffic and transport, again, you would need to have it properly clerked, etc. So that's up to you. If you wish to instigate or create a traffic and transport
working party
or whatever, we'll need to organise it within the calendar of meetings and have it clerked.
Can I just make a suggestion as well? Because it worked last time. If we did it, all right, change it a little. If it was every 3 months, the last Friday of the month, the third Friday, it would come after the CAP meeting. And then anything that's raised at the CAP meeting can also be raised at the traffic and transport. Does that make sense? And then we can forward it on, or bring it to the next council meeting, then forward it on. And that's what I'd like to propose. Obviously, if someone wants to second it, I don't mind.
So I've heard they want it to be a divisional transport.
It's no good for us, is it? We're not one what they're doing all's
I'm
work.
not saying where it came from.
Yeah, no.
I've heard.
I'll tell you where it came from.
Well, I can get.
I can tell you exactly where it came from, and I know the reasons why.
Right. Is it whatever the county council wants to that is up to them?
But they don't seem to be doing it, do they?
If you wish, Mr. Chairman, to instigate a traffic and transport committee or traffic and transport working party within the council, we need to properly clerk. The only thing to say having a Friday morning at the town council at Friday night, we need to alter the
Because you wouldn't do it on the same night as the council meeting.
So I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, normally if it's after the CAP meeting, it's not the same week as the council
If
meeting.
you want to instigate a traffic and transport committee, you need to give me instructions.
Yeah, well, I propose that we do
I
it.
propose you do it, and I'll second that as well, Margaret.
Right, who's proposing it?
I'll propose it. Because I want to be here anyway.
Come on now.
Hang on,
Because I'll be grafting.
Hang on, wait.
Right.
Mr McRae proposed you.
Right.
You said
I'll second it then.
Proposed that Councillor McGrath seconded. Does there anyone wish to speak against it or make any other points?
I'll speak for it.
Right.
I've spoken.
No, we're not doing it tomorrow.
Can, Mr. Chairman, on your behalf, all in favour, unless the leader wants to say anything?
No, I think it's highly sensible that we do that. And
Right,
the only thing I would say is, I'm sure we've got from the minutes people we can invite.
Stan sent us an email at the last one we had, and he said keep that, which I did, because it's got everyone's emails in it that come.
So we invite those people that used to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Mr.
I'm in
Chairman,
favour of doing that.
firstly, we'll take a vote. Right. All in favour of creating this? Are you going to call it a committee or a working party? What do you want to
Working group.
Working
group.
Working group, right.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, traffic transport working group.
Yeah.
Right, all in favour?
Yes.
Anyone against? Any
Can
abstentions?
I say you call it Stapleford traffic?
Yeah. Right,
Unanimous.
Cheers. And could we inform
county council.
the county council who've done it so we're not called the same?
Right, now, right, right, I need an attendance at this. So it would be a proportional attendance. So will you give me an instruction to drop the attendance for this meeting?
Shall I forward you that email I've got with everyone's details in it?
Town council representation. Right. Who do you want to, is that if you have it proportional for the meeting, is that a committee, or do you just want to nominate people?
Or can it just be, can you turn up if you want, or does it?
I think it needs to be
a
open.
bit of organisation as well.
But open to councillors, because like, I don't know, I'll pick on Carla, she might be working next Friday, but the Friday after she might be off in the morning, so she can come.
Yeah.
I'd leave it open, Margaret, sorry, Chair, and then restrict it to 3 members of the
What
public.
about Mr.
No,
Chairman?
it's not a public meeting.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, it's not a public meeting, that's what I'm trying to, that's why we need to get this sorted out. Can I say that we have 1 member from each group if they wish to come, but other members can attend if they wish to?
And 1 independent.
I said each group.
I'm not a group.
Yeah, but will you? For these purposes you are.
Yeah.
Does that suit?
Yeah.
Right. All the other organisations. I will email the different groups here.
Yeah.
Who you want to nominate as a representative, right? If anyone else wants to come, that's up to them.
Yeah.
But that's the official.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Now, you've got a list of groups. You want me to ask the county councillors?
Sorry?
I think you want me to invite
Yeah, we've got to invite them, and then if they don't come, it's down to them, but we'll invite them.
Right, borough councillors are covered by will be covered by the town council, because there's enough borough councillors that are borough councillors, so I'm not going to invite them separately.
Right, okay.
Is that acceptable or just, because otherwise we're going to double from party. Right, we've got the other organisations. You let me have that list.
Yeah,
I will
dig it out.
confirm, and they will be non-voting members.
Well, we don't
vote on anything anyway. It's just ideas, and then we send them, because it's the county that votes on it,
This will be a
isn't it?
non-voting group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I need to.
It's kind of like round the table, then the next meeting is an update to the previous meeting.
Right, okay. Okay, right, you're happy with that? I'll get that sorted. Let me have the email ASAP, and we'll sort a date out.
Can we sit at a round table as well, then no one's in charge?
No, I'll see what I can do.
Okay, now, be quiet.
One little thing to say. I was told by a particular county council that traffic and transport have got nothing to do with Stapleford, to keep my nose out.
Yes.
I won't say who.
No.
So somebody is going to be very pleased, but I really don't care, because as far as I'm concerned, that if it affects the people of Stapleford, it's my affair, and it's our affair, all our affair.
Mr. Chairman, a point of clarification.
And that's why I'm in favour of us doing this.
As a point of clarification as the responsible officer of this council, I can tell you that traffic and transport is an issue that you will comment on. The town council is a statutory consultee, which is why you receive information from the county council, as you'll see from what's listed in correspondence tonight. So anything that affects the town council is affected
And what are we
by
calling the group
comment.
again? Stapleford Traffic and Transport. What?
This working group.
Working group.
I will email you all.
Remind you.
Yes. Can
That's
we,
what I'm looking
Mr.
at.
Chairman, can we move on? Time is going on. I know there's a lot of issues this evening.
Councillor John.
I just want to go, because I've got a bill for 4. Right, I just want to make, are we on 13 now?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Are you all finished with highways, Mr. Chairman? Has
Yeah,
anyone
we're
else got a comment on highways? Councillor Darby?
What's what we right now, I would like a professional to do the road repairs. You know, and I would like the county councillors to inspect us, the inspecting officer. They must have an inspecting officer, because the work they're doing is absolutely.
Because it's done by Cromwell County.
Yes, but the council's supposed to check it.
Right, Mr. Chairman, would you like me to send an email to Morris Trustler saying that you have concerns about the standard of the work? And you would like it properly inspected and the comments back?
Is Wellington Street all right?
Right.
I witnessed that weekend.
Wellington Street, let's move on.
Right, okay, are we happy with that? If I do
Sorry, let's move on.
I think the shovel runs and drove over it.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, can we move on to item 13, H1022? The only thing I want to tell you with this is the current consultation, it is only on the changes to the consultation document that you may comment on. And in this area, that basically refers to the slight movement of the positioning of the station nearer to Long Eaton. Now there are, and I have written down somewhere, I can find what I've done, here it is. We've, on the 18th of September at Trowell, there is an information event, and there's another one in Long Eaton on the 21st of September. So if members wish to, I won't be able to attend that, I'm on leave, I'm not here. If members would like to make, I'm very glad about that, if members would like to attend that event, make your way to Trowell or to Long Eaton.
Yeah, first I suppose I kind of need to declare a bit of an interest because I'm helping that group in trial on to that Stop HS2
Yes,
thing, so that's the first thing.
The vinyl, not HS2.
Yeah, whatever. Then the second thing is, then Bob will probably be happy with this one. I read something either yesterday or today, I can't remember because I can't remember when I read it, and it was on about the possibility of extending the tram down to Toton sidings, which that's a given anyway kind of thing, I imagine, you know. But there was also on about there's got to be some kind of lines that get, and I find the article and send it here because it was quite, and it was basically saying there's got to be, you can go on the train down there and go to Nottingham, that kind of thing, and that's all you've been asking for, isn't it?
So that was, let's get access to it.
Yeah, that was kind of in this thing, so wherever it was written, I'll send it to you.
Right, just a quick one. I suppose HS2 is up in the air, none of us knows what's going on, and let's be totally honest. I think what we need to do, and I don't know whether David agrees with me, we need to find out what is going to happen to the bottom end of Stapleford. Because regardless of what we all
need to do, can't get any answers.
Right,
Yeah.
Mr Chairman.
Can we formulate a letter then, please?
Very quickly, the last information events I attended...
Were rubbish.
Well, I'm not going to comment, but I spoke to the officers who were there for HS2, and at that point they told me that no decisions had been made and no detailed engineering was available. However, I've since had contact from consultants who are working from HS2 who say they will be going out to do viability studies along the Vessel Lane area as part of the HS2 project. Once I hear any more, I will let you know. At this point in time, they have no detailed plans that they are willing to release.
Councillor McRae said about a tram leading from the station is quite correct. It was announced by the government only last Thursday or Wednesday. So it's going to happen. A tram will go right up to Toton, but it possibly will be separate from the one at Toton, if you like. Both going to Nottingham.
Very quickly, so we can sort of... Can I suggest, we hear what John's just been saying, that let's go to those consultation things, see if we can get any information first, and then put that together, because by the time they're over with, it'll be almost the next council meeting, and then we can sort of pull our information together and then formulate a letter then.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, are they a pint with you that they say they don't know?
Well, I'm taking that for granted, but I'm just thinking that if we try and find something out first, just in case, and then we can complain, saying, well, we've been to this and we've got absolutely nothing.
Because Mr Chair, what we'll say to you is go to the information event. That will be the reply.
So that's why I'm thinking if we go to those first, then we can go back to them and say, well, we're not happy with this, no information. Yeah? So make sure that goes on the next
Yes,
agenda.
Mr Chair, very quickly, first I think the chairs are saying that. Greenwood Community Tree Planting Grants, that's just for your information, further information is at the website. If you're interested in that, please look at it. I don't have any part, so I wouldn't be doing it, and it's not appropriate for the allotment sites, but do let people know. Via RTA have sent me information regarding the RTA, Nottingham Road, Rycroft Street, Wordsworth Road area, Stapleford, proposed double yellow lines. I'm taking it the Town Council would like me to support this, because it's been fighting for this for as long as I can remember. So I think I'd like to respond.
But this goes back to the previous traffic and transport meeting as well.
I'd like to respond positively that the town council is in favour of this. All in favour?
All in favour.
Thank you. But Mr Chairman, that's all my correspondence this evening.
Planning application.
Yes, Mr Chairman, we haven't come to the tree planning application. I hope you've had the chance to have a look at these. I do apologise for how they look on the agenda, but in order that you can just click the link, I have to put them on like this. 88 Nottingham Road, Stapleford. I know Councillor McCreek can't speak on it, but I'm with regard to this, but I know the leader would like me to comment on it.
Yeah, because I spoke to the person in charge of planning at Braxton. The situation at the moment, as far as I understand it, I spoke to the lady, I've forgotten who it was. Faye. The officers are of a mind to refuse it. However, when I've looked at the plans, it's two things, there's two problems. Firstly, 88 Nottingham Road, if you don't know where it is, it's the entrance, just round the corner of the entrance to the tip.
Yeah.
Or what was the tip. Firstly, 6 flats, as far as I work out, 6 flats is going to make it 3 stories. But that isn't clear from the plan, so lovely, nice sort of fancy environmental friendly thing, but it certainly isn't clear that it's 6, how high it is. So certainly I've got an objection on the basis of that, because it's not clear.
No, what I was going to say is, obviously I've got to be careful saying, it was outline planning permission, so when they put some pictures up, it was what they might do, which wasn't very clear, but it is actually outline, it wasn't a detailed plan.
I think we can sort of say, well, we don't think it would be a suitable thing for that amount of flats, and the other thing is that the road is extremely narrow. If there's going to be 6 flats there, where the hell are they going to put any cars or any parking for anything, because that road is far too narrow. Whilst the officers may refuse it, they could always go to an appeal. So my thought was, and having talked to one of the officers, that if we put our comments in, that gives them support if there's any sort of thing. Whereas if they did appeal, I suspect they won't, but if they did, there will be the situation saying, well, the town council have got no objections. So I think that if we're not happy with it, we should put in our objections now so that they're there. That seems to make sense.
Mr Chairman, to paraphrase you, we're looking at the fact that this site we don't feel is suitable for the construction, for the outline plan permission for the proposed construction of what would obviously be a three-storey block building, and major concerns with regards to parking.
Because of the narrowness of the road. And I mean, the other thing is if you parked on there, that tip is being used by vehicles that are doing housing repairs and everything else, so there's lorries going up and down there, so it would not be safe.
No, it's been used as a depot.
It's being used as a depot.
Proximity to depot.
Yeah, the plan is not very good, as Councillor Pearson has said.
Oh, yes.
And there's it doesn't seem to me as if there's any amendments on the plans at all. And he's quite right. It should never be built in the form of the plans as it is. So I totally agree with the leader that these plans shouldn't go through because of the situation you've got to check. The only thing you can say is about the building itself. You cannot go into any other bits and pieces. But he's quite right, the building is not appropriate.
Right, Mr Chairman, I think we've got, are you in favour of the objection I've already listed? All in favour? No. Thank you, I'll put your objections in. Mr Chairman, through you, certificate of lawful use, this is not an application for planning permission. It's for the former dyeing works at West End Street, Stapleford. I know Councillor Darby has spoken on this previously, his concerns regarding this. I would like your comments, please. I know the leader has. Councillor Darby.
Well, the car park was.
No, it's certificate of lawfulness for existing development, engineering works on site, which represents the commencement of the development approved under 13-00609 FUL, if you have a copy, and we have former direct site West End Street, Stapleford, Nottinghamshire. They're claiming that what they are doing, or yeah, so that's best way of putting it. What's going on in that site at the moment is all pertinent towards this certificate of lawfulness of existing development.
Yeah.
Now, I need you to tell me, do you object to what's going on? Do you feel it is exactly as said? Or do you feel it's breaching what the permission is? So I need...
Well, I think
It's quite difficult really, because I think there's that much contamination down there.
No, it's the chairman, it's what's happening on it. Is it being used for what the certificate of lawfulness has been granted for?
it's not being used.
It's not been used.
But if I just,
Yeah.
I went down and had a look. There's one problem, so there's loads of vehicles parked around in Nottingham. And that's always been our concern. At the moment, the whole area is totally derelict and there's nothing on it. I went down last week to deliberately check that out. So, I think there's two things that I just would like to say. As long as they are actually doing what it says on this plan, then I've no objection. But I think that I almost feel like telling the planners that they must keep an eye on it and start doing their job, and they really must. There's lots of conditions on the development as it was permitted. There's also a thing from the Nottingham Regional Office Building Control Information Sheet, approved inspector, which is on the side. So that would be, that's my only concern about, as long as they're going to do what has been passed. The other concern that I would have, because part of it is to actually build a road out onto Derby Road, and that was part of what the plans were there. I have doubts as to whether they can actually go ahead with that, because I think it's too close to the HS2 plans, and it's in their prohibited
It's
area.
on a bridge, it's on a blind spot.
Well, yes, but they've passed that. They passed doing that, but I wonder, I haven't had a chance to try and compare where it is, but I wonder if that road and those conditions are within the, if anybody's looked at the HS2 plans and things, there's an area that's prohibited for planning.
It's about 50 metres either side of the track, isn't it? Or whatever it is.
Well, I reckon that road is within 50 metres.
It might not be 50, but it is
But
a lot. I know it's
it looks to be very close, and I think it would be worth clearing it.
Mr. Chairman, clarification again. At the point when you speak of, I say, to the HS2 people, say, oh, we haven't gone to it in detail, but they do talk about the prohibited areas and adjacent areas to that prohibition.
And I think we ought to query whether they can.
So, Mr.
Perhaps
Chairman,
I'm not saying perhaps we haven't thought about that, but I think perhaps we ought to just point that out to them, that is this within?
So, Mr. Chairman, again, to clarify, if I can take it then, what you're saying is that the Town Council has no objection to the development as it stands, existing development as it stands. However, you wish to be sure that the requirements as agreed when the permission was granted are being fulfilled.
Yes.
Yep. Also, you're very concerned about this road with regards to its proximity to HS2 and whether or not it would reach HS2 guidelines.
Yeah.
Are you...
So these storage units, obviously the traffic could be quite...
Well, that, we can't discuss that.
We can't object to it because they're past it.
Past it, you know, it's already... The only thing, it's...
Trucks are past it with these conditions.
It's
We can't say yes or no because they passed that.
It's a certificate of lawful use. So the only thing you can comment on is that the existing development that's been agreed, that the requirements as agreed are being adhered to. And but you can express your concern with regard to this proposed road because of the HS2 situation. Am I reading this right? Are members happy with that? Thank you.
I mean, I'm not saying whether it does, but it needs somebody to look at because they might not be able to fulfil the conditions they're on their planning commission.
Well, if the planner thinks this is a good line, it's laid down. When you're talking about HS2, which Boris should know about,
What they should do,
but what I'm saying to you is that really doesn't come into the application, but it's good that we bring it up.
Mr. Chairman, it's talking about the certificate of lawful use,
Yeah.
so that has an effect on the certificate of lawful use. Therefore, that is why it's being raised. So can I, if you're in favour of this, so I will send these comments to the borough, and I will ask them for a reply with regards to the roadway. Yeah?
Has there enough people left to vote on
Yeah,
it?
we're all right.
yeah. I
I've
mean,
just been counting. We are.
it's the sort of situation where we're not saying no, but we're wondering whether they're actually going to be able to fulfil the conditions of these, as it's been passed.
Yeah.
And we're assuming that Broxton objected, but, well, how many people are at Broxton, you know?
Well,
Quite.
we understand where I'm getting to.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right,
that's
I shall
clear.
call that. So are we happy with that, Mr. Chairman? Right, can we move on to the next one, Mr. Chairman? Yes. Right. Let's go back to the minutes. Let's moving on papers. State this, I've said it's Stapleford South East Board so people can identify it. It's a change of use from B1 offices to C2 residential care home, Cambridge House, Nottingham. Now, there's previously been planning permission granted for this particular development for housing. I think it was 43 units, if I remember correctly. 46 units. There's now this further change, which is to a residential care home. My understanding is that this will be respite care, assisted living, and also a certain amount of rehabilitation units on the site. That's my understanding. It's Aspire Health, who are a well-known health provider for individuals with special needs in the Nottinghamshire area. Thank you. Any comment?
Yeah, if I may, Mr. Mayor, I've got no problem with the building itself, and obviously care is very, very important these days, and if it's used, that's absolutely brilliant. But absolutely regarding the care side of it, it's got nothing to do with us. It's under that, it would be under the social service and health authorities of county council. We can only say that yes, we would like, we're quite happy, or we're not, and I'm quite happy to see it.
I'm not quite sure it's come from council, but
Well,
all I'm
saying
asking
to you
for,
is that it is guaranteed a care home.
Yeah,
It's
all
not
I'm-
guaranteed to be one.
Mr. Chairman, it's not, the planning permission is not for a care home.
No,
No, it's not a care home.
no, what I'm
As
trying
such,
to explain to
It's
you
not
is
for the elderly. It's for young people, it's for individuals
Yes,
16 to 65 years.
yes.
Yeah, well,
Well,
yeah, but
all
not-
right, yes.
Residential care.
residential care home, but not a
the
care
age
home as in
between
a
21
home.
and 65.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
sorry, I should clarify that. Well, it's not a care home for
I know
elderly
what you're
people.
saying.
Yeah, it's a care home for 16 to 25, and it's about rehabilitation and respite care as well.
Yes.
16 to 65, sorry.
65.
Yeah.
Well, none of us are
Apologise.
65 around here.
Right, any other comments?
Nothing.
Um,
I mean, I've got
I'm
no
not allowed to
I
comment.
mean, you're not-
written card.
I'm on
I
plan.
think we've all been hearing lots of things about
Maybe one
I
day.
don't want to comment on anything.
About
We're on this lane.
care for those sort of people, so I think it'd be very silly of us to say no.
Well, it'd be very stupid.
I know when we have certain places in the past, when people have complained and said whatever, and usually it's settled down. And there's often lots of fears about what might happen, and it doesn't usually. It's often misguided fears about what people perceive might happen, and it doesn't usually happen. And usually, if there are any sort of problems, the fact that it will be people on site and whatever means that if there are any problems, they usually get sorted out very quickly. So I think under the present sort of things we should succeed. No problem in that.
Mr. Chairman, through you, can I ask, are you in favour of supporting this?
Can I ask for it, I know I can't vote on it now, but I'm sure I'm allowed to do this. Can I ask for it to be a recorded vote as well, please? Because it is
Yeah.
quite important.
Oh, yeah.
Is that alright?
Yeah.
That's not a problem. Right.
You're not speaking on the matter.
No,
you're
I just wanted to ask that. I speak on it at Rockstone, not here.
Councillor Craig has requested this be a recorded vote. Councillor Christian
Yeah.
seconded it. Yeah, I'm willing, and I'm happy to go along with that. Right. Can I then state, can I ask you, through the chair, if you support the motion? Could I see a show of hands, please? Any against? Any
No.
abstentions? No, thank you very
Only-
much.
only
That would be
Richard.
Well, that makes it job easy.
Thanks, going around everybody.
Right,
Thank you.
payments.
Is it a small enough number?
Yes, we have to.
Right, Mr. Chairman, should have in front of you the payment statement for this month.
No queries.
I don't think any,
Mr Mayor, no queries.
I don't have any particular concerns. Also, obviously, we're running up to Christmas, there will be a lot of bills coming in from various areas. Budget will be looked at, will be taken in January. Sorry, can you ask me that later? It's not part of the meeting.
Of course you can.
Just ask me about it later.
Small. Larger, you mean?
Can I ask if there are any comments on payments?
No.
No.
Can I just, I know people don't say enough, can I just thank you and Kim for doing all this, because it's really important thing, and you know, I've not thanked her much tonight, so that's probably 4 times I've done it now.
That's it.
Have you got guilty conscience, Councillor
No,
Craig?
I told her I was going to thank her loads of times tonight, and I have done, but they're all genuine
Well, how many
reasons.
you
so-
wrong?
4 or 5.
Will you let me close this meeting? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Rick, can I just very quickly, for the next meeting, put Stapleford Cemetery, talk to us.
Yeah, I've got that, haven't we?
Yeah, I didn't put that in.
No, well, it's for the next meeting, but Craig will come and give us.
No, I didn't put any, but we were supposed to be, I didn't put
We don't know
the next agenda.
I just thought I'd better do it whilst I remember it.
Well, let me turn the camera on.
No, I can't.
Have a look.